Okay, everybody, it is Monday, December the 3rd, 2018, episode number 283 of Couch Talk, and I am just already having such a good time, but how cool is it to have somebody who's traveling all over, making a documentary? We got cameras in here, we're at the wallpaper store. It is none other than Kaleo Guerrero. Hello, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really good. I'm having so much fun with y'all hanging out. We got... right here behind the camera, I don't know if I'm allowed to say or anything. But we're having so much fun, and it's like, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't really know y'all.
Yeah.
But Bluff God connected us. I trust him like none other.
Yeah, super cool guy.
And what a pleasant surprise. How are you liking Jacksonville?
It's very interesting. That's to say the least.
You're also staying in one of the weirdest areas.
Yeah.
To be staying in. He is staying in Clay County. It's not even Jacksonville, dude. Honestly, I don't even know what that is. Jacksonville's so big that some of it just isn't Jacksonville, you know?
But we got there and we were trying to figure out places to eat, and we open up the maps and we're like, okay, nearest Wendy's and McDonald's is 3 miles that way.
You're like, wait, Jacksonville sucks.
We're like, what about the other way? Okay, that one is 3.5 miles that way. And we're like, okay, so we're the epicenter of all fast food and loneliness right there.
There's nothing, specifically where you are is, I couldn't have picked the worst place for y'all to stay. You would be better off staying in a horrible area in terms of commute and saving money on Ubers and things
true.
like that.
We did luck out with our hosts though. The people that we're staying
cool.
with, they are so cool. John is fantastic. Adam is cool, and their mom is amazing, and she makes amazing food.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a Filipino household.
Oh,
so
sweet. Nice.
Yeah, incredible food.
Hell yeah, dude.
We had a fantastic lunch. It's a fantastic dinner. They took us out to Jollibee.
How long have you been here?
This is Tuesday. Yeah, so close to a week, about 5 days now.
Okay, so just explain what's going on. What are you doing? You're making a documentary. You showed me your music. That was fucking highly impressive.
Thank you.
Very nice. Well done. And I'm not very easily impressed by rap music at all. That was legit. The music video was so fucking sick, dude.
Thanks,
Everyone go
man.
check it out. It's called Brothers. It's on YouTube, and it is by Fuse the Illest. That is your artist name.
Yeah, and it's fused with an S. That's a common. Everybody wants to put a Z for some reason.
I'm so used to the S from that channel, Fuse.
Yeah. I was going around YouTube and I was like, oh great, I might be having to chat with them and maybe do some stuff in the future.
For sure, dude. They are the reason that I am who I am.
Yeah.
I was in 6th grade, and I would come home from school. This is a legitimate defining moment for me. So I'm in 6th grade. I grew up wearing I don't know if you're allowed to say wigger, but I wouldn't say wigger, but I would wear a Nike shirt, all matching. I was always matching in athletic outfits. I was just weird. I had my hair spiked. And then I went to middle school, and everybody was wearing regular clothes, a nice shirt and jeans, and I'd never done that. And I felt like such an idiot. So I went and got new clothes, and I saw skateboarding as being cool. So I kind of delved into that. And one of my friends, this kid was a legit good skateboarder. He ended up being one of my best friends. First time I ever smoked pot was with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him wearing an AFI shirt, and I don't want to be some loser and ask him what that is. So I go home, and literally that day, school here, middle school, when I went, was from 9:15 to 4:15, which is weird.
Yeah,
so I would get home
mad late.
at 4:45 from the bus. So I walk in my door, and I'm sitting there. I make some food, talking to my mom, turn on the TV, and I'm flipping through, and Fuse is on, and I just go to it. I've never watched it before. And it was literally right at 5 o'clock is the show Dedicate Live. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
It's where you could it's kind of a genius idea because this is in 2003, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a live show. It's music videos. And then you go on the internet and you type in stuff. So I'd be this is me and Kaleo's jam. And then it would show up on the screen as CJ said that. So
Whoa.
in the middle of a music video, there's people sending messages. There's mean people fuck you, Mark, you cheating bitch, and all this stuff, but it wouldn't be cussing because it's Fuse.
Yeah.
So I turn it on, and I'm like, what is this? Because they're explaining the premise because it's 5 o'clock and it's literally just starting.
Yeah.
And the first music video they show is AFI, the Leaving Song Part 2. And I'm like, AFI, that's the shirt Will had on, you know?
Yeah.
So end up watching it. It's like an awesome song. It's a music video. They had X's on their hands. They're all straight edge. I don't know what any of that means, you know? And like, it just changed my life, dude. I was like, I'm into this. Like, I'm so into this. And I watched that entire hour of television. That's when I found out who Brand New was. And I've been stuck since. Like, we were just listening to Brand New. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same person, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was a great sound.
Have you always been, like, pretty into music?
Always. I grew up, so my dad likes to tell the story of, like, when my mom was pregnant with me, he would, like, sing, like, to me.
Nice.
And he had, it would always be, like, all this island songs, all this music that I grew up listening to. And it was funny because growing up, I would hear these songs and, like, I would already kind of know the songs, like, and the words and the melodies and stuff, just being, like, 4 years old or something, you know, and just know it because I've heard it so many times. And so that's just all the music I grew up with. And ever since then, it's just been a part of my life. My dad coached me how to sing and encouraged me to do choir and pursue music. And he bought me my first ukulele, my first guitar. And he had been singing for all his life too.
I was just about to ask you.
Yeah, he was in choirs all throughout high school, like barbershop, chamber, all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad.
Explain what all that is.
So barbershop, like the quartets, like oftentimes on TV, it's those people in the red and the white shirts with the straw kind of hats.
From Family Guy?
Yeah. You converted it.
You got it.
Yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
And so my dad used to do that, and then he also did jazz, and he.
It's sad that's like kind of dead. You know, it's not really around. You don't see that anymore.
I love jazz so much.
Oh, not jazz. I'm talking about those straw hat guys.
I was like,
I play guitar, dude. I'm all about jazz.
No,
Come on.
Barbershop was not available
This
when
is kind
I
of
was
a
in
shitty
high
movie.
school. Huh?
Said it was kind of a shitty movie. That's a bad reference.
But
But you talk about, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah, go ahead.
You talk about your dad the same way that like I talk about my dad. Like it's
Yeah.
very like admirable. Your parents still together?
No, my dad and my mom were split up while I was growing up, so I bounced back and forth between their places.
Same city?
Yes. It was kind of between. Yeah. Two different sides of Bremerton. Bremerton's just a really big, like, condensed city.
Any toxicity between them, or was it pretty friendly?
It was on and off all throughout, childhood and growing up. Like nobody's childhood is ever, perfect.
Of course. Hopefully not. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it is, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You got a perfect childhood, you're gonna be a total.
You're messed
douche.
up for the rest of the world
Yeah.
because it's wild out here.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
yeah, and
There's a lot of weird protests going on about weird stuff. And there's a lot of good protests going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now.
That's
and if
that's
you didn't
the-
experience
That's the moral of
something-
it. There's just a lot.
Yeah.
Whatever it is right now, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, and if that's why nobody should feel bad about having a rough time. It's rough now for everybody.
But it's definitely undoubtedly better than would you want to go back to any point in time?
Well, okay, personally, I definitely want to go back and visit the 80s. I would love to be a teenager in the 80s.
Nice. Wasn't expecting that. Very cool. What about the 80s?
Okay, so I love hip hop history and music history.
Nice.
And
so, okay,
I
get
love
it.
learning about previous musicians, whether it's jazz or rock, and people who've had an impact in music history and unknowingly had impacts in music history. It's music is such a powerful thing, and people forget that how moving it can be. A song can evoke emotion in a human being. Songs have been used to help heal people, and it's all interconnected, and it's so crazy.
They feel like it's instinctual.
Yeah.
There's people who are tone deaf. That's something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's people who are definitely you're way more tone tolerant, if you will, than I am.
Yeah.
I can't sing at all. I can play guitar. That's a different thing, though.
Entirely different. Yeah. They're two different instruments.
1,000%. And I think it's literally something that you are born with, the ability to be a great artist, even if it's painting, even if it's videography,
art and creativity,
producing. All that stuff is something that you can only get so good if you're not born with that inherent thing that you probably inherited.
Yeah.
You know, most like your dad, you know.
Yeah, my dad especially.
So I want to get back into your dad. What's did you end up getting a stepmom?
Yeah, so I had a couple well, my dad was with
Hey,
my
papa. Daddy.
My dad had a girlfriend after my mom, and her name was Christina, and he had 2 kids with her, which are my 2 brothers, Makoa and Kainalu.
How old are you when they divorced?
Well,
parents?
they were never married, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my dad has always been waiting to marry one person, like, only.
Well,
and
he's
there.
right to not do it because obviously they're not together. So
Yeah, and you know what? It paid off because he's happily married now, and they've been together for, oh my God, like, I don't know, over 8 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've been since I was like 7, maybe 8th grade. Let's see, how long ago was that?
8th grade. I mean, when did you graduate?
2014.
So in 2009, 2008, 2009.
So almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, you know. And it's wonderful because her name is Carrie, and she makes my dad like so happy.
Isn't that the best?
Yes, it makes me so happy, and I'm so happy that they're together.
Was he ever with anybody, and please don't mention names, but was he ever with anybody that you were not fond of?
No, not really. The person my dad was with after my mom, I enjoyed very much. She was the first person I called mom after my mom, which was a very big step.
And how old are you at this point, though?
Gosh, my dad he talked with me about it around the time I was like maybe 10 or so, 11
Okay,
maybe.
fuck.
Yeah, my mom left when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and she was getting married to this guy, and they were going to have to go to Europe because he worked for some sanction in the Navy or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to have a talk with me like after the wedding, and like everybody's just, you know, partying outside, and she's talking with me, and she goes, what would you like feel about like me like having to leave for like 3 years?
Fuck.
And I was like very sad at
And
the
you're
time.
how old?
I was like 8, like 7 or 8.
Jeez.
And so
There's never a good age for that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, if you're like 14 or something, that could really like, that could fuck with you. I'm sure it fucks with you when you're 7, when you're 8, but like imagine, because you just are so more aware of the choice that it is. When you're 7 or 8, she can kind of explain it away as not being as much of a choice, you know?
Yeah, and
which I'm sure she tried to do.
Well,
which is admirable. How else do you explain it?
Yeah, and I think the thing that messed it all up was she like promised an 8-year-old that it would only be 3 years. And
geez. Okay.
Yeah, so she would visit a couple of times throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would see her maybe like once every like 5 or so months or something like that. A couple times maybe for 2 weeks. And at that age, you know, you're like counting down the days because you're like, oh, I can't wait for my mom to come back and we can hang out and start doing all the stuff we used to do. And it comes to the point where it's 3 years later, and she visits and she takes off again. And that's when...
Were you under the assumption that she's coming back and staying?
Yeah, when she visited...
Was she talking about it like I'm saying? I'm not trying to like hate on your mom. We're just being honest here and talking, you know?
No, you're good. I love like honesty and exposure. Like I'm all for airing and venting things out.
Thank you. I appreciate that's exactly what I'm looking for.
The truth is what needs to be out there.
And that's what the people who are listening look for. They can tell. When people are holding back, dude, they can fucking tell.
Yeah, it's instinctual.
Mm-hmm.
But no, my mom would mention, you know, like try and like keep that spirit alive in me, that she was coming back.
Keep watering that seed.
Yeah, and years had gone on, and I was very frustrated and very mad at her. And
so you're about to be a teenager, basically.
Yeah,
you're going through puberty. You're an asshole to begin with, and now this is
exactly. I was like 11 or 12.
Worst version of yourself, right there.
The courts ordered visitation, so I had to go all the way to Spain or Italy to be with her for the summer or for Christmas, just for 2 to 3 months at a time. And I did that.
Did you like doing that?
Just twice. It was it was a lot of fun, but it was also very, weird and painful.
Was it hard to make friends there?
I didn't really make
even try.
Yeah, I didn't really make like friends other than like the family that I was with up there, because my mom had brought over my older sister, who she had with another person other than my dad, and then my younger sister, who is my only like full-blooded sibling between my mom and my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up separate from them, having to be with my dad and them going to court all the time.
Do you feel closer to your actual blood brother or sister? It's sister, right?
Yeah, two sisters. Yeah.
So do you feel closer to the sister of full blood, or the ones that your dad had after?
More closer with my brothers,
I'm sure,
per se. Yeah, because
also there is that we're brothers thing.
Yeah.
What's the age difference?
Let's see. Makoa turns 18 in March this coming year, and then Nalu's birthday was just in November, and I think he turned 15 or 14. So
they're looking up to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why I wrote that song Brothers, is because they're going through a lot back home in Washington, having to deal with the back and forth of my dad and their mom, and transferring schools. And
is she far away?
Well,
different. Even if it's a different district, then you're switching schools.
Yeah, way different district. It's all the way out in Renton, which is like a couple hours drive from Bremerton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was tough, and the older one, Makoa, had to make like a really big decision to go and be with my dad because he didn't like the conditions at his mom's.
Okay.
And so I know exactly what it was like to have a painful conversation with my mom about how I didn't like what she was doing and how she was making me feel.
What did you not like?
Well, I felt like my mom was lying to me about a lot of stuff, because my dad would,
That's a lesson right there for any parents listening, because there's a lot of moms who listen to this, which I don't understand, but I like it. It's like your kids know when you're lying, so just don't.
Yeah, very much so. I knew every single time that when she was lying to me, and it was painful to have, my
or you
mom.
Find out later, and you're just as mad, if not more mad, because you've been tricked for so long.
Yeah, and it was also very difficult, just having to be, because I also didn't get to grow up directly with my brothers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point in time where there was a case, and I got super emotional during the case because the judge had my brothers go and live with their mom, and she got the custody rights, or she wouldn't allow my dad for visitation or anything.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
That's not saying women do this, guys try to do this too. The taking away of being able to see the kids and playing this game where you're making it about the relationship wrongs that happen between the parents and not about these kids. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to show him. He's not going to see these kids.
Yeah, it was pretty painful.
So dark. And then not like calling you, but like you're in court as a fucking child. Like that's traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to court when I got sued that time when I was 22, 23, and that was weird.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being a kid testifying, and I mean, what is this, Big Daddy? Boom.
God, I haven't seen that in ages.
So what's going on with what sparked this idea of travel, make this documentary? What's your intentions with it?
So the documentary didn't come to fruition until after I had left Washington for California. I went through a really rough breakup. I was in a relationship for a good minute.
How long?
Almost 4 years. It was coming up on the 4-year mark, just a couple months prior to the breakup.
So you're like 18 through 22?
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. It was fresh out of high school. And honestly, it was the best relationship I was ever in. And it was so painful to not have that. And I was just going through a really rough time and not believing in myself. And part of me really didn't. And then also part of me, I really wanted her to grow more as a person and have her figure herself out. Cause
what's her age?
She was older than I was. She graduated a year after me, or before me. I know math.
She failed a couple times. She failed 3 times.
No, she's fantastic, and I just wanted her to be happy because there was, like I said, truth and honesty is very important to me, and I just wasn't doing that, and
What were you lying about? You just didn't want to like go home or something?
No, it wasn't.
Did y'all live together?
Yeah.
Okay, boom.
Yeah, we were living together for a couple years, and this was our new apartment and stuff. But I just wanted I wanted her to be happy above like everything else, and so like I knew that if I wasn't going to be that for her, that I could be the bigger person and grow from it and let her experience life and continue to grow and be the person that I know she can be because she's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's an adult thing. All of my adult relationships have ended for no reason other than I don't see us getting married, which means that I don't see me making her happy enough and she's not making me happy enough to spend the rest of my life. It's not anything. And a lot of people don't understand that because a lot of people stay settled and they keep settling and digging this hole and then they stay together just out of jealousy.
Yeah.
Just purely jealousy is holding together more relationships than anything else right now. Pure jealousy. That's all it is.
I'm very big on self-reflection, and
well, you kind of have an only child complex to you. I'm an only child,
which is strange because I have so many siblings. My mom had 2 more kids with her new husband.
You like this guy?
Sort of. It was a weird relationship.
You like him more as you get older or less?
I was just very estranged. I never went back to visit them. Yeah.
She's still there?
No. So I found out just a couple years ago that they had moved back to the States and were living in New Mexico, but they'd been there for a while.
And I
had no idea.
That's so shitty, dude. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And then I found out that my mom actually left that family and is now living in Washington and was trying to, establish a relationship with me again after a lot. And I'm still on the fence about that. It's a very difficult and weird thing. And I also have her son, my brother, with her ex-husband now.
Okay,
reaching out to me.
How old is he? Old enough for social media?
Oh, yeah, exactly. He had a Facebook account, and so I think he's like maybe 11 or so.
Oh, fuck. And it's like 15, Jesus.
It's like 11 or 12, and I think
his Facebook page is probably so whack. 11-year-old on Facebook.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how old this kid is. I'm just gonna let it go. But he was reaching out to me and wanting to talk with me.
Mm-hmm. Sweetheart.
And it was so weird and not like weird in a bad way, but like weird as in a new feeling. Like I didn't know how to deal with this situation, so I took a couple days to kind of process it. Eventually, I accepted his friend request and like messaged him back and exchanged a few words. But I also had to put myself in his shoes as he went through what I went through.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's so heartbreaking to see that happen again.
Isn't it crazy how it's worse to see what happened to you happen to someone else than it is when it's happening to you?
Yeah. It
might just be pure suppression.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of suppression.
The reason that it fucks with you more is because you've suppressed it,
and that's what I'm trying to fix, though, is that there was so much suppression growing up, having to hide a lot of that pain as teenager growing into young adult. Those are very delicate years, and a lot of shit happened to me during those delicate years that I had to kind of hold together and try and not lose my mind. But I also was losing my mind, and I did a lot of stuff that I don't know, I just was a completely different person. The person that you're speaking with right now was not the same person I was just last year.
Wow.
Entirely different. Different.
Yeah, me too.
It's frustrating.
It's a good thing, though.
It's great, though. Yes,
you're growing.
I agree.
But it's frustrating because you said you're trying to be more self-reflective. I'm an only child. I'm self-reflective to an unhealthy point.
Exactly. I'm right there with you.
So it's really hard because you're trying to self-reflect and you're so different that you don't even connect with who you were. Like when I was like, even as far as like your age, I'm 3 years older than you. Like that's not even long, dude.
Yeah.
I struggle with remembering not what happened, but what I was thinking and what made me do what I did when I look back on things.
Exactly.
I don't feel connected to that person. It's like I'm watching it on TV. I'm not re-experiencing it.
This is the very first time I've ever heard somebody explain it in the way that I experience it, and I haven't been able to put it into words because it's weird to have to look over previous things you did as like this entirely different person, and you're like, why on earth
it's less
was
of a
I
memory, like a raw memory. Like there's some memories that I feel them.
Yeah.
Like I remember the smell, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Not a lot though.
Yeah.
You know, those are like,
They're
it's
very
almost
fleeting.
like looking at a picture, if you will, that can tell you what happened in that picture.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
even as much of watching what happened, but like if it's like for you, I'm going to guess the court thing, it probably feels like you're looking at different pictures as it proceeds through, and like in a way this picture is like telling you like, so this is like kind of what was going on here, and you said this, which is probably not actually what you said, which is so crazy, dude. Like there's so much stuff that like me and my dad, for example, we have memories, you know, we're talking. I work with my dad every day. Like we talk all the time. So it's like I explain a situation that happened when I was 12. He explains the situation. It's not the fucking same. And now we're mad at each other because it's like, that's not what happened. You know what I mean? It's memories are so weird and so we're not a computer where it literally direct references that exact thing that happened to it. You know, it's like I said, it's like looking at a picture or watching a 3-minute home video
It's
and then
an
having
oddly more detailed picture, but not quite video. You know,
it'd be like watching a 1-minute clip of this podcast and then trying to remember how this entire podcast went. You know, and like how you felt at the beginning compared to 28 minutes in compared to the end. You know, it's just it's a very weird thing, and it kind of fucks with me.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a lot in this podcast.
Yeah, please. It kind of fucks with me though, because like I don't know, because I like to know why I did things, and I feel so disconnected that I don't know, and it's frustrating. Like I went to rehab when I was 19, and we're trying to, you know, the whole point is to figure out why, and it's like we couldn't do it. Like my because you have multiple counselors, but then you have like your one. You know? And I'm sure this guy thought I was a straight up psycho, and maybe I am. I don't know. Like, remember when we were driving and I told you I had a crazy cop story?
Yeah.
So, and I told you I was gonna kill myself, and then I went on to this killing myself story that obviously I didn't actually try. Like I didn't fail in an attempt. Yeah. It just didn't happen. You know, it's just a weird thing. I've told it on the podcast. I'm not going to retell it. But this is dumb stuff. This is me being addicted to drugs, being an idiot, being jealous and enraged, on the verge of suicide, hating my life. Yeah. So I dated this girl, and me and her family, we broke up, but we were still quote unquote together. She didn't live here. We're doing a long distance thing, but we would see each other every weekend. So it's not, we break up, but we're still together. I go on a family trip with them, and literally she tells me that she's going on a trip to the Bahamas with her friends, and she goes on a trip to the Bahamas with her ex-boyfriend, you know? And she also knew that I was like going to be evicted from this apartment, living with no power. Real shitty, you know? She knew I was down, and she lied. And then I find out that she's with her ex-boyfriend, not with all of her friends, you know? Yeah. And her sister is like, her little sister, who me and her had a good relationship, not in that like I would ever fuck her way. Yeah. Like even to this day, as much fun as it would be to like get revenge, I wouldn't do that. Like yeah. So me and her are actual friends. She's obviously still in town. She's the one who tells me, and she's like, "I'm so sorry, but like you're way too cool. Like she's a bitch. Like fuck her, you know." And I'm all upset. She comes over, and we're like talking, and I also had this girl that I was like also kind of seeing, so I was cheating too. This is all just toxic. Yeah. And she's there, so it's me, that girl that ended up, I told you, stealing the clip, which is why I couldn't kill myself, and then the sister, and we're all talking, and like it's like, let's get her back, you know. So we start texting my ex about I'm gonna kill myself, and the sister's like, you're such a bitch for what you did. We're trying to punish her, you know, being so immature. So she calls the police. But they've left. So they leave. I'm still texting the sister, talking about it. So thank God I have these texts. So to prove that it's a joke, you know? So, which it wasn't. but it was, and it wasn't, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know the cops are coming. You know what I mean? Now that girl that stole the clip is gone, and now the sister's gone. I'm at this place by myself. And Daisy has not yet left me yet. I haven't, like, it wasn't bad enough yet for me to tell Daisy to leave. I get a knock on my door. No idea who it is. It's 2 cops. I am fucked up, dude. I am so strung out. I look like shit. Like, I'm skinny now. I weigh 150. I weighed 120.
Wow.
Probably 119, dude. So I'm a piece of shit. My apartment looks like a tornado went through there because I was pissed when I found that out. I threw my couch into the wall. This is a fucking piece of shit, dude. And cops knock on the door. I look out the peephole and I'm like, oh shit, you know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Am I like, because I kind of sold weed, but not really.
Yeah.
Because I was too strung out. So it was like, am I like, what's going on? They were being cool. I open the door. Daisy's freaking out. And I just walk out. So, like, I don't want them to see the inside of my apartment, you know? So I walk out there. I'm like, sorry, my dog's crazy. I was like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, are you Christopher Couch? Do you go by CJ? And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? They're like, how you doing, man? You know? And it's a male and a female. And the male's talking to me. And he's like, how you doing, man? Like, what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
And I was like, I obviously knew, you know? So I'm like, I'm not doing too good, you know? I kind of laughed at first, too. I was like, I'm not doing too good, but, like, I understand why you're here, and I'm not doing as bad as you think I am. And he goes, it looks like you are. And she goes, yeah, you look pretty distraught. What's going on, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, like, and I was dealing with depression really bad.
Yeah.
So it was an honest pitch. I was like, I'm dealing with depression really bad. And my girlfriend, I just went on a family trip. I just explained the whole thing. I said, I got texts, showed him the text. It's all a joke. I am depressed, but I'm not to this level. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that I look like shit. I'm not playing the drug card at all, obviously. So they're like, look, I see what you're saying. I see the text. We get it. But we can't leave here. I can't leave here. Like, I don't feel comfortable enough leaving here. Like, I don't think you're okay, you know? And he's like, so now you have to come with me. You have to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. And he goes, no, you do. You have to come with me. Please don't fight this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, what about my dog? You know, because I understand that I'm about to be Baker acted.
Yeah.
And he goes, you have family. You have, you know, they'll come pick up the dog. Don't worry about the dog. Worst comes to worst, I'll drive the dog to your family, you know, like wherever you want the dog.
Yeah.
I love dogs playing that shit, you know? And I'm like, okay. So I'm in the car, and I didn't have the podcast yet, but I'm couch talking this dude.
Yeah.
I am trying to not be Baker acted, you know?
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. I'm like, I'm not dumb enough to talk about the situation. I'm just talking to him about life.
Yeah, yeah.
I was fired from my job, and I'm telling him what I do, play golf, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm in a rut, all this stuff.
Yeah,
it's not what you
rapport,
think. Just being normal, not talking about, like, specific that stuff. And I told him my mom died and stuff, so, you know, just, we were talking, and he's like, all right, well, we get to the place now. And he's like, I got to go. You're going to be all right, you know? Gives me his phone number, and he's like, let me know what to do with the dog. And I said, no. Stay right here. And he's like, I can't. And I was like, you see the text. I'm being fine. You need to stay here for 15 minutes, and I'm going to be right back out here. And he goes, you don't understand. People don't take 15 minutes. And I said, I'm going to be back out here in 15 minutes. Walk in there. He obviously walks me in there.
Yeah.
So he walks me in there. I go. I'm in a waiting room for literally like 2 minutes. I get seen. Talk to this psychiatrist person. I am such a sociopath that I was out of there in 10 minutes. So I walked back out there. I was like, I told you. He couldn't believe it. He's like, are you serious? I was like, dude, I told you.
Yeah.
You know? So he is driving me home now. We're cool. You know, this is my friend now. And we're talking. We're having a great time. We get to a red light, which is about a mile from my house. It's like 4:45, 5 o'clock traffic. He gets a call on the radio, and he goes, I hate to do this to you. I got to let you out right here. And I'm like, what? we're right down the road. You can't just drive me. And he's like, I gotta take this call. I'm the only unit in the area right now. So he drops off a suicide motherfucker on the side, like on the road, dude, in the middle, like at the red light. He's like, just get out, and you know, your house is right down there. Because I'm telling him, dude, it's right there. He's like, exactly, it's right there. Like, you can walk.
Yeah.
So I walk back home, the most defeated motherfucker of all time, but also feeling the most accomplished of all time.
Yeah.
Because I know I look like shit. And I also didn't like get dressed to go. Like, I was in like pajama shit.
Yeah.
I got to walk home at rush hour down Old St. Augustine Road in the heart of where I grew up. I cannot imagine how many people knew me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I went home, and right then and there, I was like, I'm going to kill myself. So I'm like, Daisy, I called Daisy's mom. I was like, look, because we weren't like, you know what I mean? This is like my ex. We're not like friends. She doesn't know what's going on. So I tell her everything. I was like, Daisy's got to go. I don't tell her I'm going to kill myself. I was just like, I don't feel comfortable with her here. I'm not being a good dad. You know, the AC's been off for like a couple days at this point. It's just not good. So she picked up Daisy, and that night I'm like trying to find the clip to my gun. Can't do it. I'm like cocking the top of it's a pistol.
Yeah.
So it's a 380. I'm like cocking it back, trying to drop the bullet in, which this should be a skit because it is so funny. Like, in the darkest way. Like, now I can laugh about it because it's so ridiculous. And it was just drugs, being an idiot.
Yeah.
But like the ridiculousness of trying to do that, like, because I'm such a pussy that I'm not gonna kill myself any other way. You know what I mean? So I'm like cocking the gun, trying to drop it in there. I'm like getting mad, and I literally started laughing. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is so stupid. Listen to Joe Rogan episode 666. And it changed my fucking life, dude. I ended up doing drugs after that and shit, but like, it changed my life. I swear to God. With Duncan Trussell. Isn't that crazy?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is a wild turn of events.
Yeah, it was a dumb time, you know? And it fucked my life up. Like, I got evicted from that place. Like,
yeah.
I just couldn't get an apartment. I have more money than I've ever had. Like, I was telling these people, I'll give you $1,000 just to let me move in here. They're like, we can't.
Yeah.
That's how bad my credit was. So don't do drugs, kids. Like, and I know it's obvious, but it isn't. Like,
yeah, it's something that's so very easy for people to slip into, but it's very hard to crawl out of if you keep digging yourself a hole.
Have you ever like experimented?
No, not really.
You don't seem like it.
Nah, I wasn't the big like partier type as a kid. Like,
So what's your first time like drinking?
I would like steal a couple like sips of beer every now and again, or like, you know, like a beer. Like when I was, I'd say like 14 or so, 15.
Okay.
Like it was just around my house like all the time. And
but you're not getting like drunk with your friends?
No. That wasn't ever something I was like super keen on doing. And I mean, there was one time where we all did, and it was one of my friends moved into his new house, and we were just.
Oh, but you're adults enough to have a house.
Well, no.
His parents. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah, that night was really interesting. And
tell me about it.
There was a lot of throwing up.
How old?
I think we were about 15.
Oh, yeah, people are throwing up for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, we were just idiots.
Drinking like Natty Ice, Natural Light.
No, oh my God, Four Loko and...
dude,
it was
I was drinking Four
idea.
Lokos before they changed the formula.
Oh.
That was bad, dude. They're gross, but before they changed the formula because it was illegal, that was like literally drinking gasoline.
That was the only time I ever had a hangover afterwards.
God, dude.
I could drink a lot, and Jay just seen me drink a lot, and I'd wake up just fine.
I love acronym names. So I know you're not on mic. What does JJ stand for? Jeremiah James.
Yeah.
Nice. I believe I already told y'all, but do y'all know what CJ stands for?
I think, yeah, because you said you were Mexican and your middle name is...
Jorge.
Christopher
My
middle name is Joaquin.
He's Joaquin. Joaquin Phoenix over here. But, like, what do you think is the reason that, like, you didn't do drugs? You know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid... My first time drinking, I was in 8th grade. I drank 6 beers, pass out in my best friend's neighbor's yard. Like, we were drinking, dude.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the reason you did not when you're younger?
I was very adamant on not being like my mom, who was a heavy smoker, and I was very upset with her as a child, like, that she would smoke, because I knew it was bad. And there are times where, like, I would catch her smoking, and I would just, like, be very frustrated with her, because
I'm sure, yeah.
She had told me that she's tried to quit multiple times. And there were actually, when I went to visit her, and I don't even think that they know this, but I would actually throw their cigarettes away.
Oh my God, you were that kid.
Yeah, I was 15 years old and spiteful, because I was just so tired of the bullshit and being lied to and just not being taken seriously. And when I was, like, I wanted my mom to be, like, healthy and not be addicted to something so terrible for you. So as a kid, I would like, once every now and again, would find their stash of cigs, and I'd take one box and I would just throw it away. And I was just that kid. And it was so, thinking about that is so weird now, because like, everybody's got their shit, like, like, I've smoked spliffs before.
Of course.
But the thing that I remain, like, adamant about is that I've never, like, smoked a cigarette. Like, I've never bought a pack of cigarettes and smoked it, never asked somebody for one. Like, that's it. The only time I've had tobacco is with a spliff or in a blunt, and that's it. But growing up, I was very adamant about not doing that and not being like that. And younger me would probably be a little bit disappointed with the fact that I smoke, a lot of weed and
whatever.
But, it's whatever. I could be doing way worse things. I'm still productive. I still get my music done. I still do my work. Like, it's just a way for me to cope with, the anxieties and depressions. Like, it's tough, man. Like, it's a constant battle when because you'll have those little victories and you'll feel great and you'll start feeling like yourself, where you can crack jokes and do all the things that you feel like you used to do.
But literally 5 minutes later, you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Like, the turn of a dime, it can change, and you can just feel like it's somebody entirely different and uninterested in everything and anything that you once found interesting, and now you don't know what to do, or you don't necessarily know how to feel, and it's that feeling of nothing.
Yeah. Like,
and it's so weird. It's such a weird feeling to describe to people.
The problem, it's not really a problem. I think it's a good thing. We just haven't evolved to, I don't know, benefit from it so much.
Yeah.
Is when a good thing happens, like, I look and I'm like, damn, that's a shitload of plays. And then you just realize, no, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it is, but it really
but it could be more.
Exactly. There's always that.
Yeah.
And you have all of this that you see, which, like, to me, the standard for anyone doing a podcast that is free format, Joe Rogan should be the standard, not on how to do it, on that's the pinnacle. If you look in the top 50 right now episodes, I guarantee you the past 5 Joe Rogan episodes are in the top 50, all episodes. That's nuts.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely insane to have that level of consistency.
Exactly. So anything that you do seems minuscule in comparison, and that can either motivate you and make you want to keep grinding, or if you're depressed, you're fucked. Like, dude, there's been times where I'm just like, I can't do this.
I know exactly.
I cannot do this.
Exactly how that feels. Yeah. It's really rough, because I think as artists or creatives, like, when you have things like depression and anxiety,
how could you be an artist or a creative without it, though?
It's very true. But there are.
You definitely can.
There are. Yeah, exactly. You definitely can. But it's different. It's very different. The music is different. The feel and the vibe and the experience is very different, because it's a constant.
How could you start?
Critique and belittlement,
I think the problem is a lot of people with music, like, you can tell you care about music, and like, I see you just making music. I see you being successful, but I don't think that matters to you as much as a lot of people are making music to be successful.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people I've interviewed.
That's definitely me.
And I can tell the difference.
I'm not very, like, money centric, I guess. Like, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing this to get uber rich and to have fancy cars and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of people out there who need help. And
Exactly, yeah.
like, I don't have a lot to give, but I want to get myself to the point where I do, so that way I can give it back. And there was a week in Chicago where I spent the entire week just sitting and working on new songs to release for a mixtape that we're going to get recorded. And one of those songs is called Give Back.
Nice.
And it's all about, it's mad trappy. It's really catchy. But it's like, you know, like, I'm not trying to get this money to just spend it on dumb shit, you know. Of course I want to be, you know, to the point where I'm stable. I got debt, I got bills, I got shit I got to pay off, I got people I got to pay back, because there's a lot of people who've helped me get out on this journey and who've put me on track. And I hate not being able to, you know, hold up my end of the bargain on stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I'm trying to get this started, and I'm fighting tooth and nail for it too. We're out here traveling and meeting people face to face, getting that done. And I just want to be able to help more people, you know, like, money needs to go to places that need it rather than just sitting on it.
People that don't ever not have a lot of money don't understand how much you actually don't need it. Like, I grew up, thanks to my dad's hard work, blessed.
Yeah.
And I never worried about money. And then I fucked my life up, and I learned that, like, after bills are paid, I could have $200 in my bank account and feel rich as hell.
Yeah.
So
and
now,
even less than that and feel rich as hell.
Now, with no drugs involved, it's like, I pay all my bills. I have $1,000 in the bank account. I literally feel like as good as I've ever fucking felt.
Yeah, like you're so well off.
Because I don't need it.
Yeah.
And I know that. So I'm not constantly, because I'm very discriminative about who I give money to, not in the sense of race or anything, but I look at this person, and being a drug addict before, I can look at you and I fucking know. So if I'm giving you money, unless you're fooling me, which is very hard to do, I'm trying to give it to people that look like they genuinely need it.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, once people feel like $1,000 to a lot of people is nothing to have in the bank account, like, they're panicking and freaking out. And it's like, you have all your bills paid. You're a piece of shit. Like, what do you need right now?
I've definitely heard that from some people where they're like, oh my God, I'm only down to like $1,500 and I just paid off all this stuff. And I'm just like, wow. And you still have $1,500?
Exactly.
I was like, I don't remember the last time my bank account has seen over $500.
Only because we've been so busy, and I don't do I don't spend any money on drugs at all. Like, even the weed stuff. I don't spend any money. I don't make any money. I'm not trying to, and it's just perfect to not stress about that.
Yeah,
is the best feeling in the world, and it's not even a lot of money.
Yeah,
you know, and that is like, I'm so glad that's how I look at it.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm just happy to be living. You know,
exactly.
That's my whole thing. I'm happy to be alive and
that's
experiencing
old
life.
People, especially if this generation that raised our parents.
Yeah.
They realized what me and you have now realized in retirement, where they spent their whole life dying to have as much money as possible. Even when they're content and have more than enough, they're freaking out and trying to do everything, and they lived a miserable life. And then they retired, and they realized they have way too much money and nothing to actually do with it. Sure, they have kids, and it helps a lot, but they're bored as fuck. You can only buy you're old.
You can only buy and do so much, yeah.
To walk around in with your walker up the stairs, you know?
You're not getting up those stairs with that arthritis.
It's pointless. All these old people, dude, that I work for that are retired that did that, like, there's guys who are just like, I get a hookup on paint. We have a good reputation. I'm not trying to make money off of the paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I tell people, do whatever you want, but if you tell me what color you want, I will get the paint for you, and I will give you my receipt, and you will get it at a contractor's price. So I do that. I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, I don't want the cheapest paint. Just give me something that, like, around $20 a gallon. And the guy goes, no. Just get the most expensive paint. Just do it. And that's how he was with everything, because he had nothing else to spend his money on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
where you don't need the most expensive, but you're just like, I have all this money.
Like, they were redoing their house because they just wanted to. You know what I mean? That's dumb.
Yeah.
You could give that money, which they gave it to me and I needed it, but they could be giving, and which is cool. Actually, I take this back. Let's break this down. giving money to charity or giving money to people to work for you on your house, to fix up a car and soup it up or whatever, to redo your yard, build a pool.
Yeah.
What do you think is more beneficial?
I think hiring people to work
has to be local business though.
Exactly.
Once you hire a big company,
exactly.
You're fucking everybody.
It's local. It's all about local. I'm very, very strongly opinionated on that.
The owner of the business should be working, or else everyone else that you're hiring is getting paid $10 an hour, working 9 hours a day. There's hard work. Which is
an
bullshit.
Important thing I learned. I used to work for Domino's, and actually, this was before. I learned this before Domino's. This was actually my uncle Ariel, who got
Uncle
me. Who I worked with at Vitamin World.
Nice.
He was just a good family
Sounds
friend.
Boring as fuck.
It was the best.
Dude.
Well, because I was really into because I was into
Okay.
weightlifting, and I really wanted to do amateur bodybuilding, and so I was just lifting all the
Did you
time.
ever do it?
No, I used to be really, really skinny.
Did you ever do steroids?
No,
Oh,
thank
you
God,
should,
no,
dude.
definitely not.
The right cycle, bro. Cycle on, cycle off.
I know some people who've done it, and
Fuck
it's
yeah.
just not. They don't look too great now.
Sure, yeah.
But I used to be really skinny in junior high, and I got picked on a couple of times, and I was just like really kind of tired of it. And because I was tired of people thinking that I wasn't gonna do shit.
Yeah.
And so I started going to the gym, and I met my best friend TJ, who I actually went to school with in elementary school.
TJ, CJ, JJ.
TJ was like 110 pounds, soaking wet, real skinny Filipino kid,
Fuck
Filipino Chamorro, and that's what we really bonded on, was both being Guamanian kids trying to work out and get big. And so we spent days and days and days with each other. We talked about it, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to just like come to the gym together before school every day?" And we're like, "Fuck yeah!" So I'd pick him up hella early in the morning. We'd drive out to the Y. We'd work out, and then we'd go back to the school. And this continued from my junior year, I think, all the way through to my senior year. And this is the best day ever. Senior picture day. I had worked out so much.
Do you remember what you wore?
A t-shirt that said yoked and a cracked egg on it. Boy, this
is like at Katie and Katie Studios.
No, this was at the high school.
You're like, this is okay. So hold on. My senior year, the yearbook pictures were your senior pictures, like with the tux.
Nope.
Okay.
These were like our ID and yearbook pictures. They were all together. Our town was pretty broke.
Nice.
But I went from being about 130 something pounds over the course of about a year and a half to about 185 pounds, almost 190.
Shit.
My goal was to hit 200 and then slim down and cut, but I was just in this really
jacked.
I was
You were
massive.
yoked.
Yeah, I was yoked.
Yeah.
And here's the funny thing about that is TJ was almost weighing as much as I went. He went from 110, 115 pounds to about 175.
So go through how you did that. What were you eating?
We ate 5 to 7 meals a day.
Of what? Chicken
and rice,
Were you meal prepping and all that
proteins.
shit?
Oh no, we teriyaki. We my dad cooked, I cooked. I learned.
Nice.
I got a bunch of
I
different
bet
recipes.
your dad was so happy.
My dad was on the fence about it because he didn't want me to be like super big and like be just like another big like buff guitar player. I guess that was like a big thing that was happening.
You play guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have went to my place. We could have played guitar. But I just got a new amp too.
I haven't played in I kind of play around with it now, but that's how music was for me during that time. I used to just sing and play guitar and write songs.
Sick.
And that's how I started off. And I had
Would you ever do that at like a live show now?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I definitely would. We there's actually footage of us performing at an open mic at a place we were staying in San Diego, where
Sick.
I sang a couple songs on my ukulele, and it was so much fun doing that again.
I'm sure.
But so picture day, I go in and TJ, we open these doors, and it's like that movie, like any movie where you open up auditorium doors.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like you hear that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Everyone knows.
And everybody turns around, and all we hear is, "Holy shit! What happened to you guys?" So loud. And
You
like,
love that, dude. You have to. That's what you were doing it for.
I was so stoked, and like,
Fuck those motherfuckers.
Oh, dude, these chicks turned around. Like the dudes came around. They were all talking to us
Chicks
about our
out,
workout
clits
routine.
out, dude. They're freaking out, man. They are freaking out.
Oh,
They're like,
TJ and
"Man,
I were
want his
so
yolk."
happy. And we got the picture taken, and this guy, he hands me the ID. He looks at it and looks at me, and he goes, dude, you're fucking yolked.
Oh, yeah.
And I laughed so hard. I was like, bro, that's probably the best thing any photographer like at the school has ever said to me.
Thank you.
This is the best school picture ever. But TJ and I were working out almost 3 times a day, 2-hour sessions each time, and we'd take like maybe 1 or 2 rest days during the week.
What are your workouts?
Wow. I had this notebook, and we would do chest and back, and then we'd do biceps, triceps, and then we'd have leg and cardio day, and then it'd be like a rest day. Then we go back and do the routine again, and we have different workouts for your chest and back that we do. There's different types of bench that we do one week or one day, and then the next cycle we do inclines. You can do hammer curls for biceps, and you can do regular curls. Like, we just went off every single time. And after each meal, we would have protein shakes, about 50 grams of protein in that, with BCAAs and all this other recovery stuff with vitamins. Because I had the hookup working at Vitamin World. I could get these, those 2-pound jars of protein powder that normally cost like $25-$30 for like $7. And I bought a shitload of that, and so I had vitamins and supplements for like a year because I had so much discount. It was like 75% off for whatever store brand stuff I could get. Insane.
That's fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
that stuff's expensive.
Yeah, and so TJ and I just maintained
very good
that.
for you and worth it, but it's expensive.
We worked out before high school, and then after a couple classes, we had classes at the college because I did Running Start, which was the taking college and high school program.
Yeah. Dual enrollment is what we call it here.
Yeah. There's so many different names for it.
Isn't it weird?
And then I'd go to the college, and sometimes I'd skip my English class to go work out at the gym at the college because I felt like my English class was bullshit. And
dude, what English class?
It was just English 101. Like,
oh, okay, because I had AP language, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it's summer here. We have a pool at my school. That's
pretty cool.
My junior year, because I was like on the golf team, and so I knew all the coaching staff or whatever.
Yeah.
My junior year, I was the only junior in one of my PE classes. So he didn't have an aide, and he was just like, hey, do you want to just like take roll for me and stuff? So I was cool with Coach Robinson.
Yeah.
Who ends up, of course, getting fired for like sending pictures to girls and getting pictures, just like classic bullshit. That's all public knowledge.
That's happening so
public knowledge. Yeah.
So
I'm not exposing anybody here. So
often.
We fucking had a pool, and I would literally just not go to class and go swimming, dude. Like, I had an outdoor school too.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's all outdoors. It was so sweet, dude. Like, did you have a good high school experience? Like, did you love it?
So high school was very weird. I didn't have like the best experience, but I could have had a much worse experience.
Did you fuck? Did you get your fuck on? Your high school fuck?
A lot. It was actually to the point where it was like kind of a problem. Not as big of a problem. Like, there was a lot of people who would just like spread shit like about me and like not actually have a conversation with me. Like, but at that time I was also like fucked up and like not really like as what's the word I'm looking for? Like conscious of like myself and like who I was at that time. Like, I was very both impressionable and very emotional and reactive, especially with all the stuff that was happening in my home. And there were times where I'd lie and I just wanted, like fit in. And then there would be times where like I'd try something to fit in, and then I'd like, it'd go south, and then I would get like made fun of, be like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Of when you think of that? Like, what's an example? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
So we were at a basketball game, and I was hearing like the popular kids, they were doing this chant.
Yeah, like a 6-man.
Yeah, kind of, but I wasn't a part of that. I was just sitting behind it. I wasn't that cool to be that kid. But I was hearing them do that, and I was just like, oh man, that's so cool. And then I wanted to start my own, and so I said something, and they just looked back, and they were like, they shook their heads, and I was just like, oh fuck, okay. And so that really fucked me up just from this.
Dicks.
Well, yeah, There was the worst time I think that I experienced with like that kind of bullshit was I was in journalism, and my job was we were supposed to hand out the latest newspaper for this last assembly and stuff. So I'm standing there holding a stack of newspapers, and all the senior kids are lining up and going into the theater, and I'm like handing them out to everyone, and then one of the guys is like, "Yo, can I get one?" And I go to give him one, and he just smacks the whole stack of papers out of my hand.
What the fuck?
And they just laugh about it and keep walking, and I was just like, damn, that really fucking sucks. And this was the reasons why I wanted to get big and not be fucked with anymore, because I was so sick of people doing shit like that to me for no reason. Like it was the dumbest thing. And you know what? Like, fuck those guys.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
But also,
what are they doing now? Fucking nothing. Probably listening to this.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm doing my own thing now. I'm traveling the world. Like I'm doing music and I'm enjoying life, and I'm a much better person from the experiences that I went to, despite how shitty those experiences were. I had to go through those in order to be the person I am now, and I couldn't be more grateful for that.
Yeah.
And
it all is like part of the process. It sucks, but like a process that doesn't suck is not a process.
Yeah, our high school did get remodeled though, and it looks way better than it did when we went there. And
isn't that kind of like, what the fuck?
Oh, we
Why
saw
can't we get the sweet
pictures.
shit?
I was looking at this, and I was like, man, I don't want to say fuck you kids, but fuck you kids, man. I was like, this is a nice ass high school. It looks like a fucking law office in Washington D.C. It's the most beautiful lighting. I was like, God, I'd love school if it didn't look like a prison.
Anything created after the recession is over, like anything created after like 2012 is so badass.
You ever seen those like hospital TV shows where the hospital looks like really nice and stuff?
Yeah.
That's what the fucking high school looks like. You go into
insane.
the main lobby and it just looks like a TV movie set.
Well, how I was telling you that Jacksonville's growing in the direction that you are at.
Yeah.
All those schools are like that. And then you go into St. Johns County, which is the best school district in the county.
Yeah.
Or in the in its county, it's the best school district. It's the best school district in the state, one of the best in the entire country. And it's funny because right next to that is Duval County, which we're in. Duval, baby.
Okay.
One of the worst. So in St. Johns County, it is rich people.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you the average income of someone that lives in St. Johns County is upwards of $20,000 to $30,000 more than a Duval County resident. It's insane. And all of those schools are like iPad shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the future's now, dude.
Yeah, and that's starting to become a more common thing. My brother, taking home laptops and stuff. But like, there was also that was implemented a while back ago. There was still, it was a fancy thing a while ago.
Yeah,
but
there was one iPad.
Yeah, but it's been around. But it is picking up, and it's becoming a lot more technology based. And I still remember being in elementary school and having to do those typing classes and those exams, and I did so bad at that. And now I can type like, at a pretty decent level. Like, I spaz out, I hit the keyboard.
Yeah.
but like, well, it's I think that's mostly having to do with like producing, and also like when I'm making music, I use the notepad on my computer and I like write down my lyrics like while I'm doing that, and then send it to my phone so that I have
beats?
that. Yeah. I haven't made a song with my beats that's out to the public yet.
Right.
My album that I want to release to the public is going to be a project that is music that I've made either by myself or with in collaboration with somebody, but having to produce and make like the spine of the beat, if you will, like how the beat should be shaped and the sound. Excuse me, that bang does wonders.
Dude, this drink, I am like, it's so crazy. It is literally like...
It definitely woke me up.
It is like cocaine in a can. It's insane. But honestly, it's better because you're not coming down.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
I have not drank that drink in like 2 hours, dude. I drank half of it. You're drinking the other half. We are fucking wired, dude.
Hey, but that's what keeps this interesting, though.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
But what was I saying beforehand?
School technology, right? Here's a question for you. Do you want kids?
I do, but there's also.
So you want to get married?
I do, yeah. Eventually, I do hope and like see myself getting married. I do want kids at some point in time, but whether or not they are, like my kids or, kids that I adopt, or even a kid that I just father from whatever partner I find.
No way.
Like that they
No
have
way.
a child.
No way.
It's wild.
No way I'm doing that.
It's a very difficult thing.
All you bitches out there listening, that's where I draw the line. At your kid.
I love kids. Kids are so
no,
cute.
I love kids too.
And they're fantastic.
But I wouldn't marry a girl with a kid. I'm sorry.
I've had to take care of so many kids.
Unless like my jizz just jizzed out and I couldn't have a kid. Like for whatever reason, I just became like not potent at all and I just couldn't have a kid.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, I want to have my own kid and shape it.
I do. That's like it was a very difficult thing for me to
Which
get
is very
to get
narcissistic.
past. Yeah. Well, my ex, she had dropped like a bomb out of nowhere. Like we had talked about having kids, and then just out of nowhere, she was like, "I don't think I want kids." And
Ooh, I thought you were about to say something else.
no, and it was like it shouldn't have been as big of a deal as it was to me in that current moment. But like having like sat there and thought about it, I was like, okay, like that's fine. But she had taken my initial reaction as, oh my God, like I think he's gonna break up with me because of this.
Ooh, wow.
And so that created a lot of distance between us, and it was very unfortunate. And to me, like she was more important than having kids. She was my best friend, and I would have gladly have put that ego aside of like having my own like physical spawn and just being able to share my life with somebody who knows and understands and cares for me so much, as well as even, adopt a child like from, whatever age, and just shape that human being to be a better human being for other people, and have them go and help other people as well. Like so many people are so concerned with themselves too much. There's signs and bumper stickers I see like, it's my money, why do you need it? And it's frustrating because it's like, okay, like I do understand it's your money, you're not obligated to help anybody,
but they're also probably pro-life and again, like they want abortions to be illegal, which whatever you think about that, fine, I don't give a fuck. But if you're gonna make people have babies, you need to be for welfare. You need to help these motherfuckers out, because the reason they're not doing it is because they don't have money, and you can't just be like, sorry, you're a fucking loser.
There's actually a song that I made called Affection.
Give me a pound.
Boom shaka.
You get it.
And the first lines for that, like the whole song.
Drop them bars, boy.
You know what? I'm honestly thinking about it.
Did you ever do the beats? The pencils?
So yeah, I'm
sorry, I had an ex-girlfriend. She was really young. Let's just say like really young. Legal, don't get me wrong, but like I'm 26, like 19's kind of young. She didn't know what that was.
Oh, the pencil drumming?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Never. That's how privileged of an area she grew up in. They didn't even do that at that school.
I got in trouble so many times for tapping and drumming, and my Carrie, who I love calling mom now, is...
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's fantastic, and it was one Christmas, I believe, that was the gift I wanted to give her, was officially like instating her as like
your
my mother. And I wanted to make sure my dad got it on video too, and so like there was definitely crying involved.
Nice.
But
is it viral?
No, that's not posted anywhere. I need to get him to post that. But she hated the fact that I would just tap and tap and tap, and I would just fidget all the time, and I didn't realize at the time that was my anxiety. Like in stressful situations, I either like rub my fingers or tap my fingers or like drum a little bit, or I do
it all the time. It's not stressful.
Yeah, and then there's a thing that I've been doing for a very long time that I did not notice was an anxiety habit, was this with my toes is constantly happening whenever I'm thinking, talking, or like trying to like convey like how I feel or process something. It just happens. If like my mind is racing at night, I'll be laying there perfectly still, except my toes will be doing this, and I can't get them to stop because my mind is racing and it's trying to burn off some of that excess energy. And it blew my mind to figure out that this was the whole reason why I was the way I was. I thought I was just weird for a very long time.
Right.
It was just that I had weird habits or weird things, or saw weird things, said weird things, and was interested in weird things, and talked too much and annoyed people. And it was just something that I did out of response to chemicals in my brain affecting my body and my speech and my emotions. And not that I want to use that as a crutch, but it helps me understand and help me better it. And when I say it,
it's not an excuse.
Exactly.
It's a thing. It's a function.
Yes, I never mean for it to be an excuse. I'm just trying to get people to understand where I came from and where I'm coming from, and that I understand that I can go forward from that. Yeah.
Constant misunderstanding of explaining something versus
making an excuse. Yeah.
It's nuts, dude.
It's so
frustrating.
And then
you sound like you're making excuses when you're like, I'm not making excuses, I'm just explaining.
Yeah. You know? That's my big argument I used to have when I was younger, is like, you would ask me for an explanation. I'd give you an explanation, but you'd call it an excuse. And it was so frustrating to be like, where do you draw the line at me telling you the truth, and how do you get to judge that versus what I know actually happened, you know?
Right.
And when you try and give them that information and they can't understand or perceive it the way you do, they're just going to call you bullshit and be like, that's unreasonable. And I see, actually, you know what, something that reminds me of is watching Fox News and Wendy's, which was like eye cancer.
This is insane.
It was absolutely terrible.
Try listening to Rush Limbaugh's radio. It's way worse.
They go,
and Sean Hannity, it's insane.
They're like, if global warming was as big of a problem as people claim it is, if climate change was as big a problem as people say it is, why would we ever let people own private jets? And they asked it in such a satirical manner that I was like, yeah, no, that's literally the question we've been asking for years. Is like, this is a problem. Why are you still letting people take private jets? Like, that's really fucking terrible for the environment.
The Republicans are like, oh, even if it is real, nothing we can do about it. So, fuck it. It's nuts, dude.
I love that. Yeah, I've read the report. I don't believe it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're lying. They're paid by the Clintons.
300 scientists? Okay, let's not get into that.
I haven't done this once in the podcast. I've been very cognizant to not do it, but I thought of this earlier when you were talking about nervous tics, and I'm going to digress now. When you're talking about your nervous tics and your toe thing, I have this weird thing all the time. Like, an example, if I'm walking down a sidewalk, you know how there's like fatter cracks than the other or whatever? Every time I'm walking, I guess a better way to describe it would be if I hit my hand, like I grab the mic and I go like this, and let's say this hits.
Yeah.
Then I have to hit with my ring finger, my middle finger, my index, and then my thumb. But let's say, like right there, my hand hit right there, and it hit my middle knuckle. So now I need to hit my ring, my pinky, and my index finger.
Interesting.
And if I'm walking down a street with cracks, like this is my foot, you know, and there's like this crack.
You have to place the tip of your the ball?
If my right foot the tip of it were to hit, now my left foot needs to hit. And if I don't perfectly get it, now the right foot needs to hit the next crack where the left foot hit, and the left foot needs to hit where the previous right foot hit. And if it's a bigger crack, how there's like the big cracks, and then there's like on the big cracks, each foot needs to get one of those. If like my right foot hits a big crack and then my left foot hits a little crack, even if I have to walk weird, the next time a big crack comes up, which obviously it goes big crack, little crack, little crack, little crack, big crack. So it goes right foot on the big crack, then left foot on the little, then right foot, then miss the little crack, right foot on the big one. So it's all bounced out. That's insane.
I've never met anybody who does that.
Batting, grip it. If this pinky, every time, dude, if you grab a baseball bat, there's that butt of it, you put your pinky on, then this hits it. So now I got to go bing, 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 regrip, golf, everything.
That's
I'm a
insane.
fucking psycho.
Do you do the pinky and the index finger hold while you golf?
I do overlapping, not interlocking.
Okay. When I went to visit my mom on base, they had like a youth PGA tournament.
Nice.
And it was super fun. I competed in that, and I think I got like maybe 5th out of like 50 kids. And
what
something.
The fuck?
It was
kids must have sucked.
Yeah, seriously though. Like, well, like my grandpa grew up golfing, and I went golfing with my grandpa all the time. But I wasn't like good. I just understood like how to hit the ball. Like I was in baseball too as a kid. But they taught us to interlock the fingers and like do the swing, and it really helped for a while. And then I just had like all the fucking sores from that. And then I also wanted to go golfing with my grandpa more often, but we also were just too busy working 2 different things. But no, that whole sidewalk thing, I definitely vibe with that. What I do with the cracks is like it's either the tip of my shoe needs to touch the start of the crack, and
I
then
feel that 1,000%.
my next foot needs to touch the start of the next crack, and then I can step and touch the start of the next crack with my next foot, and then reach again.
So
and
nothing with the back of your foot though?
alternates. Sometimes if I can't reach it, I have to use the back of my heel, and it's so weird to have to think about that while I'm walking and being like, why can't I just fucking walk down the street?
I was walking. I remember this specifically. I'm walking. I'm in 9th grade. I just got off my bus. I'm walking to school, and my friend Miranda. Shout out Miranda. She has beautiful children. It's amazing to see her doing her life now.
Shout out Miranda.
She is walking behind me. We were like really good friends. So I'm way up above her, and it's dark out because, like I said, we started school. Middle school was 9:15. High school was 7:15 to 2:15. And then
that's
it
around
was
the time.
7:30. The next year, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, it was 7:30 to 1:30 because we lost funding and shit. You know, the economy crashed. So
yeah, wow.
I'm walking down, and there's cracks everywhere. So I'm doing my weird fucking shit. And Miranda goes, "I fucking knew that was you. No one walks weird like you." And that was 12 years ago, and it still haunts me to this day, dude. Like, it really does. Like, pizza box. I've never actually been picked on. I was actually, not to sound cool, and I'm gonna say actually one more time, but actually, I would be the kid who, if you're getting picked on, I'll hang out with you. And there's this one kid who, like, he's a truck driver now. He calls me to this day, and he got worse than anyone I've ever seen. He, not the most attractive kid, fucked up teeth, whatever, and he talks like this, you big old redneck. He says pussy. Like, people would ask him to say pussy because this is middle school. It's just the funniest thing ever. This kid saying pussy. He'd be like, pussy. And I mean, he got horrible bullying, dude. Like,
yeah, I can imagine.
And he was little as fuck. And now, or then I was like, what? This kid's not bad, because I had classes with him.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not like he's some asshole, and people are like, these kids are just being assholes. So I'd hang out with him, and now, like, I wonder if he was this and then it happened, or did all of that bullying push him into bipolar disorder and manic depression? You know?
Yeah.
Because, like, he talked about it. He came on the podcast and talked about it. And I'm also not saying his name.
No, that's incredible.
But he, like, legit is extremely mentally ill. And he easily could have been in middle school. And just, I couldn't tell. But, like, when I hung out with him, not that, because, there's some kids who, like, they get picked on and they don't want you to hang out with them.
Yeah.
They don't want that, dude. This kid wanted friends. He was a normal fucking person. I would talk to him all the time, normal shit. You know, it wasn't like he's weird, because there are those kids.
Yeah.
He was not like that. And even now when I talk to him on the phone, there's glimpses of that old him, but it's not the same, and I wonder if he got pushed into that. There
was a kid like that in junior high, this kid named Hugh, and I genuinely want to know how he's doing now. I have not been able to find him and relocate him after.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he used social media. Yeah, he's probably fine. I hope he's doing well. He's a very smart kid, but he wouldn't talk very much. And then when he did speak, he had a very deep voice, and it was very misleading. Like you wouldn't think, like, from the way you look at him, that he would speak like this. And
those are the best.
And he was, I thought, like, he was cool, and like, I just, talk with him on occasion to try and get him to speak, because I knew that he didn't talk very much. I'd be like, hey, Hugh. And he'd be like, hi, like, just very quietly to me. And so, like, as I kept talking with him, like, he would talk more, and he actually would come up and talk with me on a couple of occasions. And the times that he did, I felt so blessed that he felt like he could come up to me and speak rather than me reach out to him. And so I really hope he's doing well in life, and
he's listening.
I hope so. Like, I definitely want to
real shit. Those kids doing what you're doing, they're fans of you. The ones that, like, you did shit like that with, just because they don't have social media and stuff, that doesn't mean anything, dude. People, this is so fucked up to say, but all those kids that, like, got treated like shit, you don't want a fucking social media, dude. What? You're going to start a social media so you can get shit on there? They probably make fake pages just to see what everyone's doing, dude. And
That's crazy. Yeah.
they want to, like that kid that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
He knew I was doing this, and he's not all over social media. So you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an investment. I'm not saying that. You be nice to people to be nice to people, but like people, for the most part, like I said, there are some people that you shouldn't hang out with that are weird, and be nice to them always. Never be mean to somebody. But those kids that are getting picked on, and you have this gut thing that like, I could be friends with this kid. Fuck anybody. Like, be friends with that kid. You know, I know that's so obvious, but a lot of people like don't actually, they feel it,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just are so afraid. A lot of people are just afraid to eat lunch not with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Because that means maybe I can't sit here tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is such dumb childish thinking, but it's real childish thinking because it's children.
Well, then there was that whole incident going around where the way that people were talking with the whole the school shooters and stuff.
Wowzers. Yeah.
Yeah, where
Parkland?
Yeah, where people were talking about how like, oh, like you don't ignore the quiet kids and stuff like that. But the way that they approached it was making anybody who sat by themselves or anybody who was secluded in the slightest was suddenly a target as a potential shooter, and that was not the case. Like, that's not what it was.
The disingenuous nature that you would be approaching this person would be so much worse than not approaching them at all.
Exactly. You're not going to talk to this kid because you want to talk with him.
Don't do it once.
You're going up to talk with him because you're afraid he's going to shoot up the school.
He knows that.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows that.
Exactly. Every person who does that, they know that. And it's so shitty to have to feel that. And not that, I was a target of it, but I can understand that, level of pain and assumption and rejection and people assuming things about you that just aren't true, rather than them having a genuine conversation with you to get to know you and who you are. Mm-hmm. And I wish more people would have done that to understand like the things that I went through in life, because there were actually some people that I talked to and got to see like my house and like where I lived and the way I lived, and they were like, yeah, I didn't know that you live this way. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, I expected you to be like more like well off, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate. Like I didn't have like, I wasn't like the poorest of poor. I had like, my dad worked really hard at all hours, all times to make me happy.
I see a lot of similarities between us.
Yeah, and unfortunately, him working so hard, you spend like less time like with him. But I mean, your dad has this shop, and so I assume you guys have spent a lot of time working together for years and years.
Yeah. It's very lucky.
Yes. That's my dad also did the same thing for me with his DJ business. My dad had been DJing
sick as fuck,
and doing weddings and birthday parties and stuff since like his early 20s, and
nice.
Yeah, and so he was known for that, and my dad was known for being the life of the party animal, the karaoke singer, the heartthrob.
Dude, I respect that so much. I could not do karaoke.
I love it. Karaoke is so much fun.
I'm so insecure, dude. Maybe now I could, because, and I want to smoke a cigarette after this.
Yeah.
I do these smoke break videos now, and I don't like that. It's me conquering something in myself. That's why I'm really doing it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do karaoke. Mm-hmm. I could maybe do a stand-up set. I could talk. I feel very comfortable. I'll talk to a billion people. I don't care. Singing is just so scary to me, dude. Like, for you, and you had really nice melody going, like in the hook, right?
Yeah, then that was a very
the hook or just the beginning.
Yeah, it was kind of singing all throughout the song.
Yeah,
it was my way of transitioning from the music that I'd previously done into the music that I'm doing now. Which that song is a very, obviously chill, vibing kind of song. But there are songs that I am making now that, are a lot more hype, a lot more action, a lot more shit talking, a lot more saying whatever the fuck I feel comes to mind, because
do you think that happened and you're changing in the midst of this trip?
Yeah, 100%.
You're starting to realize, maybe I'm assuming here, you're all sad, you're heartbroken, and you're starting to realize, actually, I'm kind of fucking awesome.
There's a transition in between that. It's more or less not so much like, I'm sad and I should be like extremely happy. It's more or less it's becoming okay with knowing that I'm sad and feeling sad and being like, that's okay to feel that way, because like you have to feel that way sometimes. You just can't let it consume you. You can't let it stop you from being the person who you are. So when you feel it, really allow yourself to feel it and work through it, because if you don't, it'll stay there for a very long time and it'll get more and more and more and more present in your life. As
1,000 fucking
yes,
percent.
as it continues to boil and stew and cook. And if you don't get that out at some point, it becomes very unhealthy and dangerous. And it's unfortunate that so many people lose sight of that, or some it's so easy to lose sight of that. It's an uphill battle with mental disorders. It's a constant fight that you don't know if you're gonna win. It's
what is winning anyways?
Winning for me is those little victories I was talking about earlier, those moments where you feel like yourself again, where you can smile, you can be happy, you can joke, and you don't have a care in the world, and you love the moment that you're in, because those moments are the only moments that are guaranteed to us, is the current moments we're existing in right now. There's no guarantee of the future. There's no going back and fixing things. All that's there is where we are now and where we intend to take ourselves in the future. You can't stress about the future because it hasn't happened yet, but you can make plans and
you can definitely look forward to
exactly and make goals, set goals for yourself, whether they're personal or for work, for mental health, for dieting, whatever they are. Set goals for yourself to simply just not dread the future and make it something that you have something to look forward to. Yeah, if you try and tackle everything at once, it's so overwhelming. If you separate it all out into,
that's how you have to do it.
Yeah,
because people don't start because they look at it like, I have all these fucking things.
You have to portion it out. You can't tackle everything at once. You will get overwhelmed. It will halt you and hurt you in the future. All you have to do is take a look at what's immediately causing you certain feelings or stress, and what can you handle immediately, what can you prepare to handle in the future, and how can you be better at dealing with it when it happens again, if it does happen again. And so it's very important for people to know and remember that.
Hell yeah. This is my couch talk advice that I just thought of. Oh yeah, you can only kill fucking at most 2 birds with 1 stone, dude. You got to take it one thing at a time, man. And what I wanted to say when I was talking about the singing is like, I don't think people actually understand. It's probably the bravest thing to actually know how you sing, to know what you really sing like.
Yeah,
is fucking brave, dude.
That was a huge transition for me, knowing that there was a point in my life where I wasn't as vocally trained as I am now, and listening to that and being like, oh my God, that sounds so bad.
Isn't that frustrating?
Yeah.
It's kind of cute in a way to go back.
Yeah, it's both cute and heartbreaking, but I listened to my EP that I made. It's an acoustic EP called Friggin' Finally, and it's all on SoundCloud. It's completely, well, I think it's like $5 on Bank. Well, it's free on Bandcamp, but if you pay $5, you get like a bonus track or something.
Fucking pay, dude.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
It was so much fun to do, and it's all songs that I had like written and played out, and hearing that is like listening to an entirely different person, and the feelings that I felt, and the songs, and the kind of songs I was writing, and just hearing how I talked and felt about things then versus how I talk and feel things out now. With hip hop, it's so different. It's definitely like looking at an entirely different human being and listening to.
What's the most glaring difference?
Just the maturity of my voice. Like as far as like talking goes, like this is my regular talking voice. It just kind of sits in the lower register.
If you're in a character this entire time?
Well, I sang bass too in jazz choir, so my talking voice could be way lower than it needs to be.
Yeah, that's fucking. Dude, you could like characterize that right there.
Oh, I love doing voices. That's another thing outside of hip hop that I want to pursue is voice acting.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I have
shitty voices, but they're funny.
Yeah, you got a lot of good voices, and sometimes you look left and right. Hey, listen,
that's good.
Listen,
that's actually, dude. You should
you
go to fucking Second City.
Yeah, I might. You take one foot in, one foot out. Yeah.
Fucking good, dude.
It's just like it's like a weird drunk like Sylvester Stallone. like Rocky 1, where you could barely understand a word that was coming out of his mouth.
It's like the third round of Rocky 1 when he's getting beat
I'm gonna go to the dock, you owe me money, man. I'm just saying. Like when he's a caveman trying to read, like, oh, I love those movies.
It's so amazing, like the actors that have just like blown up, like him. When you think about it, it's like, how the fuck did you get famous, dude? Arnold. It's like, you're fucking crazy. You sound like shit. All right, let's smoke a cig, and then I want to get back in here, and I want to ask you about everywhere you've been.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the Couch app.
Yes.
I want them to sponsor me. How much sense does it make?
How
did I not think about that till right now? I should have been pursuing this.
Yeah, that actually, you know what? We'll double team on that because the documentary that we're shooting like involves us talking to couch surfers and couch surfer hosts and why they do that. But we'll get more into that after the smoke break.
Yeah, after my addiction. All right, be right back. Okay, boom. We are back, and I want to get into. I'm fascinated by this trip you're doing. I'm fascinated by everything you're doing, and I want to know the inner workings of it. You like mentioned couch surfer.
Mm-hmm.
Explain what that is to everybody. It's fucking genius.
It is the best thing that ever happened to us. So couch surfing has actually been around for I want to say like 10 years or so.
Oh, wow.
Since like 2000, yeah, like 2003 I think was when it first came out.
Holy shit.
And since then it's developed from the website to the app and become this big thing where people are opening up their homes to people either, needing a place to stay or people traveling and wanting to get out there. And the most common thing that we hear from these hosts is that they just want to help people. They want to give something to people and make traveling not just for people with money. Like if you need a place to stay and you're trying to visit this city and you want to see the city, you can stay with a local who knows the city in and out, who is willing to give you that tour and take you to all the best places to eat, the ins and outs, the secrets, and it's an amazing experience. And you make so many genuine, lasting friendships with these
real
people.
Friends. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful app and a beautiful thing. And people, when we started telling people this, people are like, "Oh, you are crazy staying at a stranger's."
Well, here's the thing about that. Any crazy person that's gonna kill you and rape you or whatever, like, I'm not saying that they're not dumb because they're insane, but they're not dumb.
Yeah,
they're not gonna use some app and have somebody who is like on record coming to your house. They're gonna fucking kill that person.
Yep. You have to request. You have to. There is a system of approval. You can get the approved check mark next to your name after you stay with. I believe it's 3 people, or 10 people.
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, I don't know the exact numbers on that, but you stay with a bunch of people, and
so this is a traveler's check mark, not a couches check mark.
Yeah, it's a verification. It's making sure like you have stayed with other people and they leave you reviews, and the people who use this app, the hosts, leave you genuine reviews. If you were not this person, or not a great host or great guest, you see that, and people see the conflictions, and people see if this guy's a majority of like really great reviews versus his 2 somewhat weird reviews. You kind of like, you show up and these hosts will tell you about those moments. They'll be like, "Oh, let me tell you about like what happened there," and like and so like you get all these stories and experiences like from different kinds of people experiencing different personalities, and that clash of personalities is only one of like the few problems. Like you don't know them yet, but the whole point is to get to know somebody. It's to
Welcome
get
to
to
my
know.
podcast.
Yeah. Was to get to know. Yeah, you understand that. It's getting to know somebody new and inviting them into your home and your culture and your city, as well as like maybe in an emergency, like I don't have a place to stay, like my hotel or something fell through, or my flight got canceled and I can't afford a hotel. Some people are more than willing to just let you stay for the night, and or a couple nights if you need, and some people just want to have a conversation and get to know you, and that's like the best part about it. Some people don't demand anything from you. They won't be like, "Oh, like we have to go and do this, we have to go and do that."
How does the money stuff work?
Yeah.
How much more affordable is it compared to Airbnb?
You don't pay for it.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
couch surfing is entirely free. The you can pay $20 for the verification. That it makes hosts want to
say yes.
Yeah, exactly. Say yes, but they also look at your reviews. Even if you're verified but you have no reviews.
Sketch.
Yes, exactly. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get accepted. People read these reviews, and everybody that we meet, I try and get a friend request from on Couchsurfing so that I can leave them a friend review. And JJ, who books the gigs, gets the personal and stay reviews, and my name gets mentioned along with that. And when people look at us, they come and find me and can look at my reviews when I was with JJ and see that it's a genuine experience and these actual reviews,
Let's take a moment to just appreciate JJ for a second.
Yes, JJ is absolutely
got him
fantastic.
On the camera. He's a cool motherfucker. He could easily be killing it on this podcast, but he is a professional. He knows that he needs to be doing this. This is shot for... Now explain what you're doing. What are we shooting here? What's coming out?
Let's see.
We are also shooting an episode of Couch Talk on my camera for the first time. So shout out all the couchies. Video episodes are back, bitch.
That's going to be
way better
great.
than when I had the GoPro, because the GoPro would only record in 12-minute fucking increments. It would record the whole 2 hours.
But
flush,
you just have different...
But in 12-minute bursts. So then when you put all the videos together, there's this weird little loop, and I have this one continuous audio, because this sounds great. So I put it over it. And every 12 minutes, I'd have to do all this piecing and puzzling.
Yeah,
and I'm not a producer. I suck at it. And we are now a year later, and here we are.
That's something that I had to do for JJ, who was working on a video for somebody, and they needed to edit the song. And
JJ's amazing.
And he asked if I could move the drop of the song closer to this starting point, and I was like, yeah. So I just went in and I clipped the audio file and just kind of smushed it together and made sure like it lined up like perfectly. When I played it for JJ, he just was not expecting the level of fluidity for when the drop came, because I took a drop that happened.
Isn't it the best when it works?
It was so nice. It's such a rewarding and like good feeling. You're like, yeah, I did a good job.
That's gotta be for people who are like, it just seems so boring, like doing this video editing shit. It is so rewarding when you get it right and you watch it and you're like, this is exactly what I wanted. This is perfect.
When you take those ideas in your head and you can visually see them coming to fruition.
It's very hard to do.
Oh, but it's so satisfactory. You know, like it's a wonderful feeling.
So before we get into the question that I asked about what we're doing with this shot or what we're shooting here, your music video Brothers.
Yes.
How did that idea come about? That it's so genius. Should I spoil it?
No, you can feel free.
You have like a TV as your head, and it's you on the TV. It's fucking. I won most original in high school. I know originality. No, I'm just playing. It is the most original music video I've seen in I don't even know how long, dude.
Well, thank you, man.
Purely original.
We really appreciate that.
Like I don't. How did you fucking think of that?
We were just brainstorming ideas, just talking. One day, hanging out at my dad's house when we were visiting Washington again.
Actually, press pause and go watch the music video. It's worth it.
Yes, feel free. It's Brothers by Fuse the Illest. You can find it on YouTube. It's available all over streaming services, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, everywhere.
Great song, but you can keep listening to the song, whatever, but at least watch the music video.
Yeah. It was so much fun to do that. Like, but when JJ and I were talking and we were like, maybe we can have me like sitting in a couch, like watching a TV that was like playing memories, or like maybe like a projection from like a radio was like playing memories. We make it like kind of futuristic, and it bounced around from like 3 or 4 different ideas to what if the TV was my head and we had the memories playing on that TV screen, and we were like, hang on a second. This is a great idea. And
That's
so we went and got belts from Goodwill and attached them.
You really put the TV there?
Yeah. So my TV was strapped.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a video on Instagram of me.
Jesus. It looks amazing.
There's a shot in the beginning.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it gets...
How?
He did a wonderful job with the editing, and it took so long to get that done.
I can only imagine.
It was a lot of work, and it was insane because he told me it was the most amount of work he'd ever spent editing a video.
The way it looks so good. Now that I think about it, I was just assuming that it was really like you did some weird green screen bullshit that I don't understand, and it just looked good. And I was like, wow, it doesn't look like any sort of CGI. No shit, it doesn't look like the fucking CGI because you really did it. How hard was that? You have a fucking TV on your face, but TVs aren't that heavy anymore.
Oh, this TV was still pretty heavy.
Goddamn.
But I had a bruise on like the center of my chest after walking around with it because I had to have my head turned to my left.
Oh, nice. That's fun.
The TV being a flat screen, I had belts just going across my face. There was a bolt in the TV that was like right here.
You were like walking down the street.
Yeah, and
Did anyone honk at you?
No, not at all.
What a bunch of dumb idiots. They should have honked
Actually,
at you.
it was Oregon, so they were totally used to the weird shit
They're probably
that
like,
happens there.
That's a real person. That's not even belts. That's a real person.
There were people interested in it for like the first few minutes of us walking, and then some people would just be like, okay, and then just go back to texting like they saw this shit last week, you know?
That's so awesome.
Oregon was a weird place.
I'm sure.
But I had my Jurassic 5 beanie pulled over my head and covering this part of my eye, and the bolt would just like be in between that fabric and my face, and so strapping the belts around the back of my head and pulling the excess over the top. JJ had to guide me, and there were a couple times where I almost ran into something, but I did not run into anything. Didn't trip, didn't hit anything. But we'd have to take it off every about 10 minutes or so because the pressure would just be too much, and I'd either have to like switch like sides of my face or just like give me a minute to unkink my neck.
Yeah.
And
you're not just like one shot in this motherfucker.
There was a lot of trust I was giving to JJ to guide me down these sidewalks and not run into people, walk into the streets or the lights, and he'd be like, "Man, this looks really good. Wow, this pull."
Yeah.
Like he's like, "Wait a second, this isn't a video. This is you're walking right now."
Yeah, this is life.
Yeah,
street.
Those were so great. But I'd take it off my head and I just have all these lines on my face from my hat, and people would be like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Shooting a music video," and they're like, "Word, that's gonna be so cool." And we're like,
they were
"Yeah,
damn right."
thanks.
Well, yeah, no shit.
One guy was like, "Wow, he really likes TV." Like.
Wow, it's so good, dude.
So I was just like, "Oh, great! Here come the TV jokes." Their dad's walking down the street, like, "Too much TV will kill you." And I'll be like, "Oh, that's why I'm wearing it."
You know, they say you are what you eat, you are what you watch.
I love those jokes.
Yeah, dude, you got it. It is hilarious how every old man is just got them loaded, dude. They got a 6-shooter ready for any fucking time you have a conversation with them. Boom, I'm dropping this joke. I'm dropping this joke. I'm dropping this joke. Bang, bang, bang. It's the same ones all the time. They love it, dude.
Do you ever do that thing where you go grocery shopping, just mispronounce items for the fun of it?
No, I love it.
It's my absolute favorite. If I ever go shopping with somebody and like I'm really feeling it, I'll just be like, "Yes, let us get some paper towels."
Ooh, they don't like that. They're like, "What?"
And you can just be like, "Some what?" And just renaming a whole bunch of different whatever products and stuff. It's a gag, and it's great. I love watching the videos of people doing it too.
Yeah, I don't know why I think you should do this, but if you because you seem too nice, but if you put your hood up, like I wouldn't believe you with the way you look right now, but if you put your hood up and you just did that to people and like you just played this like foreign card and fucked with people, dude.
I could just come to people's faces and be like, "Hello."
Exactly. Fuck with them, dude.
My name is Perry.
Could you maintain character?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love, so one thing with voice acting, I was reading just like training stuff and like how to like keep up with characters, and like it's taking something that you can read in a normal voice, like a book page, a script, a poem, whatever, and reading that in character of whatever voice and person you're doing. And like, you know, when I worked for Domino's, my favorite thing to do would be to answer the phone in ridiculous voices, and people would just for dumb reasons place bets on whether or not I would do it. And I was like, "You guys know I'm gonna fucking do it. This is the easiest $20 I've ever made in my life."
I'm doing it.
And I had gone to this new store, and these coworkers had known that like I did funny voices, and they're like, "I bet you
You're
$20."
the voice guy, dude.
Yeah, I bet you $20.
You're definitely gonna do voice acting because there's no one else that's the fucking voice guy at Domino's.
It was so funny. Like, she goes, "I'll bet you $20 that you won't answer the phone in a funny voice." And I said, "Oh, dead ass." Phone rang. Grabbed the phone and "Thank you for calling Domino's. My name is Sven. How can I help you?" Which is very slow and kind of flirty almost.
Yeah,
but it's like
sexual.
"Can I get a pizza?" "Of course you can." You know, just like caressing those words, and they're wrapping around your ear, and you're having to hold the ear to your phone, so you just have this German flirtatious finger just dipping through the phone, touching you, and you're like, "Man, this is so uncomfortable." And that's what I envision when I talk to people in that voice, is just making them feel oddly uncomfortable.
Yeah, you
and
did it.
And at the end of the phone call being like, okay, thanks, have a nice day. And just,
Yeah, bye. See you later.
yeah,
I'll see you when you get here.
the best. And
Do a
I'd have,
pickup?
there were customers who would watch me do this.
Ooh, they like it.
And they tipped me like $10 because they were like, dude, I'm going to come back here like the next time I have a day off and just watch you do this shit. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just made $10 for doing something I'm
majority
technically
of
not
people-
supposed to do.
Like, the majority of people are cool, and that, like, back to the couch surfing. People are like, oh, it's sketchy. Nah, like, legit, the majority of people. Like, I got not blessed, but I went to rehab, and then I lived in a halfway house, so I got to live in a room with fucking 2 other people, like, way smaller than this,
Yeah.
that I don't know who they are. You know what I mean? And one of them wasn't cool. And he wasn't even not cool. Like, he was cool,
Oof.
but he was just, like, had horrible PTSD. He had a
Ooh.
meth addiction, and he just thought he could, like, wear my shoes. Like, literally, I have Vans.
Those were
Yeah,
that last one was such an extreme from the first.
He just would walk around with my shoes
He had
on.
PTSD and this and that.
So
He thought he could wear my shoes.
in rehab, there was the real rehab of, like, you go and you're in there and you do classes all day, and then there's IOP, which is like you only go to class from 10 to 11:30, and then you look for a job, and then you have
Yeah.
another class, and that's what I was in. So he wasn't in that. So he wakes up before me, you know?
Yeah.
So I wake up one morning and I'm like, where are my red Vans? And I couldn't find them anywhere. And I'm like, the last thing I'm thinking is that this guy could have them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know how he could even fit in them.
Just so happened to
I
be
wear
your
a
size.
10. I'm not big at all. This dude was way smaller than me. Like, it makes no sense. They could not have fit him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where are my fucking shoes? I'm looking all over, but I'm late for my shits. I got to go to my class, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. I don't care. Put different ones on, you know? Go to class. I come back. Still can't find them anywhere. And he's still doing his thing. And then they all come back. And I'm sitting on my back porch. And I'm smoking a cig.
Yeah.
And that's when everyone gets back. I'm on the back porch smoking a cig. And these are actually apartments, but they are owned by the rehab. And it's like a U. And there's a courtyard in the middle. So everyone walks through the courtyard.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. And there he is. Walking in my red Vans. And I'm like, what? You know? He walks in to the house. Just says what's up like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Doesn't say thank you or anything about the shoes. Keeps them on. And I'm like, hey, dude, are those your Vans or mine? And he laughs. He's like, oh, they're mine. And I was like, or no. He said they're yours. They're yours. Sorry. And I was like, okay, well, like, just, you can wear them. Just let me know. And he got like offended. He's like, fine, dude, I'll give them back. Takes them off. No socks on. Of course. A fucking course.
Oh.
And then also, I was smoking spice in rehab. Who wasn't? So everyone's got the K2. Yeah, I love doing that on the chair. You hit that little
Yep, my leg
the
wrapped
drop
around,
down.
and I was like, oh, here we go. Down I go.
So the here's the truth about rehab. Most people don't want to be there, and they just want to keep getting high. So we were smoking spice, and that guy, I don't know all of this about him yet. He hasn't stole my shoes yet. You know what I mean? He's been living there literally one night. So I also smoked cigs with him all night. He's telling me all these stories. I know he's crazy, but I don't think like he's that crazy.
Yeah.
You know? I don't also know much about meth and how like crazy that is at that time. So I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm kind of hiding smoking spice. I have 2 other roommates. It's a 2-bedroom apartment, 2 in one room, 2 in the other. And the other 2 had been there since before I got there. They were like 31 and 33, both from Louisiana. Great guys, like seriously awesome dudes. And they like my first time going to strip club, I was in rehab. I went out on pass, said we were going to an AA meeting and went to a strip club. They both gave me $50 bills, like straight up. Yeah.
Damn.
So they're like, get a lap dance on me, man, and have fun, you know? So they know I smoke spice, but they don't want any part of it. They're serious about it.
Yeah.
So this guy, I just had a bunch of spice. I was high as fuck. I was like, hey, dude, I'm leaving. I'm going out on pass. Just so you know, in the bathroom, under the shampoo bottle, there's some tin foil. It's rolled up into a pipe, and there's spice. It's packed already. Have fun, you know? I knew this dude was no snitch, you know what I mean? So, boom. I don't think anything of it,
Yeah.
I'm doing my thing. I'm out on pass. I go to a restaurant. I'm supposed to be like at a meeting. We don't ever do that. We're all just hanging out in Delray.
Yeah.
Not getting fucked up. I mean, we're smoking spice, but you know what I mean? We're just having fun.
Yeah,
So walking around, being bored for like 2 hours. And I get back and my roommates were like, what did you give him? Like, you didn't actually give him the spice, did you? And I'm like, yeah, I did. He thought, now it makes sense because he's from Detroit. He comes to this place. It's pretty tropical. It's Delray Beach.
Yeah.
He thought he was on a cruise ship and like they were on a cruise the whole time by himself in the bedroom talking to himself. They're freaking out. My roommates, it's Monday Night Football. They tell him to come watch football. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? You know? And he's like, man, like saying like this cruise is so fun. This, I promise on my life. Okay. They said that he's sitting there watching the game with them.
Yeah.
Not watching the game. Looking at an Orbit pack of gum. Like, like cracking up, losing his mind.
Holy shit.
Like, you guys see this? Like, telling them that. Like, you see this? This is so funny. Like, losing his mind, dude. Like,
that is insane.
Yeah, and
that's so scary.
he was just outside on the balcony, and I'm dead serious. He was still kind of high, but he wasn't, like, where he was, you know?
Mhm.
And I was like, dude, like, what happened, you know? Like, what happened, you know? Did you smoke the spice? I didn't play it like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
You know? I was like,
Yeah,
what happened?
yeah.
Like, did you smoke it? And he goes, holy shit, man. Like, I thought I was on a cruise. Man. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I thought I was on a cruise, like, for a while. And, like, Wade and Sonny, which I guess it doesn't matter. They don't know their last name.
Yeah.
Wade and Sonny, like, had to tell me, like, nah, we were not on a cruise. Imagine being that, like, psycho.
Yeah,
That's what meth does.
that's insane.
Because that's not what it did to me when I smoked it.
Yeah.
That's not what it did to anyone else. That's what it did to him, you know? So
That's just mind-boggling.
so back to couch surfing. No. So what's the first place you went?
On couch surfing?
No, just on this journey.
Okay, so the first place was
Where are you from?
Was California. I am from Bremerton, Washington.
How do you know JJ?
We actually went to high school together.
Boom.
We went to high school together, but we didn't like talk with each other a lot. I think we'd maybe spoken like a handful of times, you know, maybe.
You ever smoked pot together before?
Nope.
Okay, all right.
Never once. And I wasn't really into like smoking weed like before high school. Like I did dabble like my senior year, but I also was like approaching the age of like 21, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to fuck this up for me. I'm just gonna wait for me to be able to buy it legally since it is legal. And so I did. I just waited for a while, and but JJ and I were we went to high school together, and after, you know, all these years, the rough breakup and everything, I decide I need life change, and I signed up for, well, I had there was this music competition, and it was I think it's called the Showcase Tour, and I did a show for them in 2017 that I was supposed to have, or no, I did it in 2016.
It's weird how time flies. It's like, what is what?
When we shot that video, and then you spent a year trying to get a hold of me afterwards. Yeah, so yeah, 2016 I think was when that was, and I had a free show from them that I was supposed to do, because they never sent me my video like for that performance, which they said was in the video, and I had contacted them about it, and they were deleting my comments, and then I talked to my dad about it, and he's like, okay, well, I can contact my attorney. And the second, I mentioned that was going to be my next step, that's when they approached me and said, like, okay, listen, like, we can't get you the video. We made a lot of big mistakes, but we can get you a free entry in the next competition in Seattle, which will be happening in February or something of 2018. And I was like, oh, okay.
You should have said, fly me out.
Well, see, here's the thing. It was supposed to
Seattle,
happen. Yeah,
so you
in
don't have to
Seattle.
fly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I was just
My
going to
bad.
go there. And then somebody got shot at the venue about a week before it was supposed to happen.
Idiot.
And from then, they were like, we can't reopen the venue. The venue's like still closed down and under investigation. And now like there was in danger of being closed down forever.
So bullshit. becomes more bullshit.
Yeah, and so I was upset with this, and I was so...
And you're already fucking down.
Yeah, I was so distraught.
It always pours when it rains.
Wow.
Hit that baby.
I love hitting
We
that
are
button.
sinking. The sinking ship. The
It's
chair.
funny. I didn't do that at all during the first half of this.
Part
and
2
now
is a disaster.
My leg is just like, let's click it one more time.
Let's just do it.
And so I was really upset about all of this. And the closest show would be in LA. And that's what they told me. That was where
Have you been to LA before this?
I did do a acting, singing, and modeling and dancing competition when I was about 15, 16 called iPop.
You suave fuck, dude. I'm in a model. Nice.
Here's the thing. I went down there for acting and singing. And while being down there, like this isn't me bragging. This is just me like talking about it. Like
2018, dude. I get it.
Exactly. Like I went down there and this guy saw me sitting on my guitar. I was just eating an apple. I was just like waiting
Saw
after
your
I
mouth
think
open, dude.
well I think I finished an audition or something, and I was just sitting and waiting, and I'd finished talking to my dad, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "You headshots." And I was like, "Okay." So I stood up, I gave him my headshots, and he looked at me and he said, "Come with me." And so I grabbed all my shit. I threw my apple away. I just went with this dude.
Yeah, you're
random dude. Did not know who he was, but he looked official in this hotel.
What did he look like?
Old guy, looked to be foreign. He was.
You could beat this dude's ass.
I learned this afterwards. He was basically like the Simon Cowell of iPop. Like he didn't like anybody.
iPop?
Yeah, so it was a competition that's for all these modeling and acting and talent agencies. I was involved with John Robert Powers, which was transferred.
JRP.
JRP turned into Seattle Talent. Yeah, that's what it was called.
Really?
Was JRP Seattle, and there's JRP LA, which JRP LA was really popular, and that's how a lot of kids got into their thing. I met Davis Cleveland at this event. And
Who is Davis Cleveland?
he was the kid off of that show. Oh God, is it called Shake It Off? It was that Disney Channel show with those the two girls who were like dancers and like best friends. It was like Bella Thorne and Zendaya, and then it was.
I had a loyalty to Nickelodeon. Like I'm weird.
Oh no, I'm. Like Nickelodeon was claptastic. I definitely have
But, like
a special.
I wouldn't watch Cartoon Network. I wouldn't watch Disney. Like I was like,
I had a
fuck
special
them,
place in my heart
Nickelodeon
for
only.
Cartoon Network, especially.
I don't. Can't do it. Nickelodeon only. Hey Arnold.
But so I did this competition and did all that, and I'm following this guy, and he takes me to this room, and he's like there's a curtain and everything, and he goes, "Okay, take off your clothes," and I'm just like, "Okay," and so I'm like down,
What?
I'm down to like just my like boxer briefs, and he's like, "Okay, walk through," and
He's
so
like, "Take out the
I go
wiener."
through, and there are. There's some judges. There's this woman sitting at the end of a table, and I just have to walk down.
This is recently.
Yeah, well, when I was 16.
Okay. Now I get it. Now I get it, now
So
I
I
get
was
it.
much younger.
I was gonna say what's going on here, dude?
No,
16. I still would have probably. I don't know.
like I said,
Whatever.
very impressionable kid, and I had a lot of like knowledge at the time, but I was
Let's
just like,
see pubes.
yeah, I'm really glad that did not happen.
Yeah.
And so I see this
This
lady.
guy actually is not a creep.
Yes,
He just was like, I want this kid's face
this lady
in the
asked
non-gayest
me.
way ever. I know what he can do with this face, and I don't want to fuck it. I just want to put it on stuff and make money off of it.
I just want to make money off
brilliant
his
business
face.
man right there. Seriously, he sees it and he's like, I don't give a fuck. This kid's gonna make me money.
Well, it was weird. He brought me over here to walk down this in this room that had like kind of a runway, and I was asked to walk down a runway, and I know proper posture and I know form, but I was considered too short to compete in the modeling competition there,
Which is just all so stupid.
yeah, I was 5'8" at the time, and so I only grew like 1 more inch, and now I'm like 5'10", like if somebody if the sun shines right,
Yeah.
5'10" on a good
Right
day
pair of
if I
shoes.
get a right good phone call. But she asked me to walk down the runway, and she's like, "Is this how you like normally walk?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "It's very good. You have very good posture, and I want to put you in the modeling showcase." And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an exclusive showcase where they just pick random models like from the competition to be in this particular show where you wear these exclusive outfits and model for them and walk down the runway." So there's footage of me at 16 walking. I did this European look, which was like this jacket with a bunch of pins and like a wife beater and these pants, and it was just so. I had these.
You look like a
big
Guamanian
boots.
Jared Leto, dog.
That's exactly what it looked like too, and it was so funny. It was just the weirdest thing. And like it was supposed to be like Middle Eastern fashion, I think was what it was supposed to be inspired off
This
of.
shit was probably so fucking expensive.
It was so atrociously like weird,
gaudy
like,
and shit, like with like rhinestones on it.
well, and then I had like
bricks of gold.
this turban wear, I guess. Like I was like in this
Hell
kind
yeah.
of like big robe with like a Speedo pretty much on, and I was like, I fucking hate having to do this. I was like,
Damn.
I got to do this. And so I went out there in my Speedo and just did my runway shit. Never done that before.
Put that Bin Laden Speedo on, dog.
Yeah, and they told me I was too short for modeling, and yet I still got picked up on this. And by far one of the craziest
You
experiences.
could have ended up in Dubai, man.
Well, they had an awards ceremony, and I won way more awards than I ever thought I would get. I had like these giant freaking microphone trophies that just
You're
sit at my
thinking like, I'm about to be a
grandparents'.
model for the rest of my life.
It was, well, like I was like second or third runner-up for actor of the year.
Whoa.
And yeah, my first time ever competing, and I was like, no fucking way.
What are you crying for, dog? You little stinky girl.
I was so blown away by that. And the guy who won was a kid who won like every year for like the past 3 or 4 years, you know?
His name's Jack Black now.
No, it's like this little kid that you looked at and you went, yeah, there's
Oh,
a
that
reason.
little fucking. I'm not gonna say any derogatory terms, but that little kid from Big Bang Theory, the new Sheldon. I'm just kidding. All that show's the worst.
It's just that one kid that you know that's like going to win and has won 4 years because
His mom's a
that-
judge.
Yeah, some sort of shit like that, you know. He's gone to these respectable schools and done all these classes and whatever. But I'm not hating on anybody. That was a fun experience. I made a lot of great friends, and I'm still in touch with a lot of them. One of my friends from iPop, her name is Alina Lee. She is
It's a beautiful name.
she's a beautiful person, a beautiful artist. She's actually doing headlining shows in the UK right now.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and she actually just put out a new song. I think it's called Higher, and it's really wonderful. So I'm shouting her out. She's
Shout out.
fantastic. She's the only person I've ever let sign my guitar in my entire life.
Oh, wow,
I
nice.
never let anybody sign it because it was like my baby, and I wanted it to be pristine.
What you got?
I had just a acoustic electric Ibanez guitar. And it was made out of some koa wood with this nice glossy finish, and so much fun. Beautiful sound. Probably my favorite guitar. I haven't played in a really long time, and I do miss my baby.
It's so fun, man.
Yeah, she's at home with my parents.
Being watched.
Yeah. But back to the very original question
Yeah,
of
yeah.
first place that I went.
You are in Washington State.
Yep, and I
Just
decided
outside of Seattle.
I decided I was going
Heart's
to
broken.
fly to LA for this next show and just stay down there.
I love that.
And just pack up all my shit, get rid of whatever I don't need for necessity, take whatever I want.
Shave your
and
pubes,
just,
get out of there.
yeah, just boom.
Leave them there. Don't even do
Flew
anything.
down to LA for the show, stayed with my friend's aunt's place, and my sister was living in San Diego. She was at Coachella at the time, and once she was finished with that, she picked me up from the transit, and I stayed with my sister in San Diego,
Beautiful.
who I didn't get a chance to grow up with, and I got to live at her place, and we talked, and it was so nice getting to hang out with my
Is that
older
your first
sister.
time really hanging out with her?
Yeah,
Holy shit.
like in our adult years especially,
Mm-hmm.
in all the years that her and I even past 4 years, the amount of time I spent with her in San Diego is way more than all of our years combined, except for obvious childhood years.
Yeah.
But those are the years where I was too young to remember a lot, But it was wonderful getting in touch with my sister and getting to talk with her about life and family stuff, and that's where it all started. And JJ saw that I left Washington for music, and he said,
Were y'all friends before this?
we'd met
But not like this, obviously.
yeah, no, definitely not
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
Like JJ has become one of my closest friends in such a short amount of time.
1,000%.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's I couldn't imagine doing this experience with anybody else. Dead ass, he's probably the main reason that we're at where we are with all the work that he does, and with the encouragement that he gives with me and my music, and the belief that he has in me, and the faith that he has in me. And it's motivating, it's inspirational to just keep going and working, because somebody believes in me so much that they dropped everything that they were currently doing to leave their home.
Yeah, you said you had a production company.
Yeah, dropped
Jesus.
all of it, every single thing, to come and fly out for no guarantee of success, just me trying to figure myself out on this journey while also making music and figure out who I am and what my music means to me, where I want to go with it, what sound I want, who I want to be, what I want to do with it, where I draw, like, do I put a ceiling on myself for success, or do I just open ceiling and see where it goes, you know?
Dude, this is so, like, inspiring is an obvious word, but it's like I'm envious of not even how bold it is, because it's an obvious bold thing, but like that takes fucking balls, dude.
it's definitely
Big
not
balls.
easy.
You didn't even have money, you say, like,
Yeah.
you're not like have like thousands of dollars saved up and you're like, I'm gonna go.
I
Like,
had
that's the balls part right
I
there.
left California with no money, and I had to put up a GoFundMe to just like try and accumulate
Is it working?
some extra funds. I got like $80 something out of it, which was fine. Yeah, like I'm not ungrateful for that at all. I have my thing that I was supposed to do. I had ordered. I'd gotten these T-shirts ordered. I'd already paid for them, and the people who donated, everybody who donated would get a T-shirt. If the donation was above like $10,
Nice.
you know.
Yeah.
And I think I changed it to just everybody who donates will get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And so I was supposed to get like all these T-shirts made, about like 15 just to start of these my first T-shirts. And the guy who was supposed to do them was not. I had made T-shirts with him before, and they came out fine, and he was totally good, and I had no reason to believe he was sketchy at all.
Yeah.
Did not return phone calls, did not return emails.
Oh my God.
For months and weeks. And so I had to call my credit card company and tell them I need my money back.
Yeah.
And it fucked up like my whole line of payment, because I would not have forked out over $200 to get these T-shirts made.
Fuck this dude.
Yeah, and so I was already in San Diego when they were being made in Washington, because everybody who ordered lived in Washington, and I was just gonna have my family distribute these while I was away, and be like, yeah, can you give these people these T-shirts?
Send them the address.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, and that's what it was supposed to happen. And he never got back to me, ever.
That's
Even after
to
getting
this
my
day.
money back. Yeah, to this day. It's been months and months and months.
You should
And
blast him.
I
but
was
whatever.
so pissed.
What a
And
piece of shit.
yeah, I was so pissed. It fucked everything up, and it made me feel like really shitty, because I don't like to not hold up my end of the bargain. Like I said earlier, that's the whole reason why I'm trying to make it and get famous, is I owe people these things.
Yeah.
And it makes me look shitty for not being able to give these people these things, but I already took the steps to get them done, and
this
somebody
dude's
else
a piece
fucked
of
it up
shit.
for me.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
And so now I don't have the funds to go through with that yet. The full thing, and the one thing I have to keep telling myself is that everything I'm doing now is for preparation for future me to enjoy himself later.
1,000%.
And
yes.
everything that I'm having to suffer through and feel, and whatever amount of debt I'm in, whatever gut-wrenching, anxiety-ridden phone calls I have to go through, and whatever gets thrown my way, I have to allow it to come my way and process it and let it go and move forward, so I can do better in the future, so that it doesn't happen again, you know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And so I want to be able to give people all this merch. We have these designs. They're so cool.
Yeah.
And like with our next video, we actually plan on dropping these T-shirts with the next project that we release, because like they're ready now, and we're ready now.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're with the success of Brothers in such a short amount of time. Like
Such a good video.
like I'm excited for it to grow and see where it goes, as well as release crazier and more intense projects for the future, and touch on different audiences.
I was gonna say genres.
Yeah, like, well, a little bit, yeah, because I play around.
Demographics.
Yeah, demographics. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, different music demographics where people listen to, some like upbeat, trap stuff, or like something that has a message in it but still has like a dope beat, or just in respect for old school hip hop, just saying the most outlandish and funky, I don't give a fuck shit you can possibly think of, as long as it's fun and crazy and creative and just going off, because like it was meant to be this platform of like having a good time, you know?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
yes, it's important, for people to have all these party songs because, like, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. Like, not everybody can be serious and talking about what's going on all the time. Some people do need those distractions where it's just something fun to listen to and to feel good about and have a good time. So that way you have a break and a stress reliever from all the other shit that's going on in this world. But that's kind of what I want to do with my music, is touch up on important facts and then also like make stuff that you can, head bob to and have a good time listening to repeatedly without having to feel like you're overthinking and stuff. But I also like to challenge myself and make things creative and, write weird shit and weird lines and just try and be either fun, witty, or outlandish,
Yeah. That was like, I don't know. It seems like everybody now tries to do one fucking thing, but you're in LA, you're with your sister. You have no couch surfing.
In San Diego.
San Diego, yeah, that's right. So JJ is like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
He comes to San Diego?
Yep, he came all the way to San Diego. And
how'd he get there?
He flew down. Yeah, he just flew down. Yeah.
You're going to take a train, but the flight's pretty fast.
Yeah. And it's cheaper in retrospect. Like
a
couple hours flight versus like a day and a half on
food,
train.
Food and bullshit, and you're bored and all that. It's not worth it.
But he met me and my sister down at San Diego, and we wanted to begin the big journey as it was, and he had just learned about couch surfing, and we wanted to test it out. And
how do you decide where you're going?
You just look at do you mean like as far as?
So you're in San Diego. How do you decide where you go next?
Let the wind take us.
So where'd you go?
Just into another area of San Diego. The area we were staying in was near Normal Heights, I think was what it was.
What a weird name.
Yeah, I love all
Abnormal Heights is across the way.
I love all the weird street names and junk. But we stayed with this guy who was just a couple miles away from my sister's place, and he was near Balboa Park. And super cool guy, very first couch surfer host ever. And we met another great couch surfer there who, I don't know, can I name drop him?
Alan?
No. Oh, yeah, Alan or Jez.
Oh, Jez.
Yeah, so Alan was our
host.
host.
No last names. I guess in reality, it doesn't matter. But.
Alan, coolest guy. Like, he was just very, like, as far as a first couch surfer experience goes, set the whole thing up for us. We were like, this guy's super cool.
That's got to be an important person.
Yeah, and he let us into the place, and he told us about these cool places to eat, and he was such a cool guy. Jez was visiting from the UK. He was from Oxford.
Oh, it's another couch surfer.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so you'll meet other couch surfers. Sometimes they'll have multiple people stay with them.
Like
so
multiple couches, dude.
Yep. These people sometimes
beds.
We've stayed in really nice beds. Sometimes it's couches, sometimes it's like a mattress on the floor, sometimes it's an air mattress. Like, it's just whatever space they have available, they're opening up to people who need it. And that to me is so, it's so kind. That's what a human thing to do,
Oh yeah.
Like genuine human kindness. And
that's what I'm saying, man. Most of these people, it's a kind thing.
Yeah.
I would say not even most, not like a majority, like 99%, if not higher. Because, like I said, no idiot psycho who's going to kill somebody, not even an idiot psycho, just no psycho is going to fucking register their address, have record of somebody coming over there and hurting them. That is not going to happen. You are it's way more dangerous to go out in your own fucking town to a club. Way more high chance of getting hurt. And for sure.
These people, when you meet hosts like who are relative to the area and they want to show you around, they are so much fun to be around because they're like, oh, like let's like go to a bar, and like usually you try and do something like nice like for them, like buy their drinks or like buy them a meal like while you're out, and it's just like trying to be courteous to them, letting you stay in their household and eat their food and use their facilities and their space. And so we try to give back when we can. We don't have a lot of money a lot of the times, but like when we do have like enough to take care of ourselves and we feel like we can at least like buy them drinks or something, like we do try to do that. But it's a lot of fun because you you create, like, it's such a unique way to create friendship.
Dude, I should get with Couchsurfer. I shouldn't even say this because it's such a good idea, but I should just get with them and be like, I'm going to just travel the country couch to couch and do podcasts with every single person. Why the fuck is no one doing that?
That's good. Like, that would be absolutely fantastic. We're trying to shed light on couch surfing by
what a brilliant app. I'm not even like
by
sucking their
talking
dick because it's a couch surf, couch talk. Like, that is a genius.
Yeah,
the fact that it's free, I did not know that.
It helps so many
Holy
people.
shit.
There, you can go through reviews on any page and find just the sweetest things, you know. And some hosts, they're like, we stayed with these people who had us write in their guest book, where they wanted to write down like our names, where we were from, what kind of experience like we had with them, and what kind of hosts they were, so that people can like look through and honestly, you know, see a handwritten review of them as well as a review on Couchsurfing. And that's just so sweet. Like, you see all these other people who have been like had great experiences with them and memories created, and to be in a culture of that is so, it's eye-opening. It's a new experience. This
is changing my life right now.
Yeah, it changes you. It really does, because you start to see a glimmer of goodness in all this madness that's happening, you know. Using Couchsurfing, for like 6 months, like just place to place to place, whether it was in San Diego, in LA, in Temecula, in
give me the order.
Chicago.
Give me the order. And I want a story from each place, and then we'll wrap this up because we're already at 2.5 hours. I could do a 7-hour podcast. It's not that. It's people have been not complaining, but more people, I think, listen to my solo ones because they're not as long.
That's true.
And to me, that's some baser pussy shit, because like when I listen to a podcast and I see that it's short, I'm like disinterested.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think the difference between like how this interview is going versus like the length of your other interviews, as you've told me, not that I have like had the personal time to listen to yours. I feel like this is divulging into a lot more interesting information and a lot more to talk about than
you're letting me
happens.
More than scratch the surface. I scratch the surface with everybody, and not a lot of people will like dive into it and then realize that, oh, I shouldn't keep talking about this, and then we bail out and talk about whatever.
I love
you got to keep going and going. That's the best part.
I love just being able to, you know, express myself, because there were so many years growing up where I wasn't able to do that. You know, like if I were to like talk or speak up, it'd be, you know, considered talking back. And that's not the way like I wanted to see it, and not the way that I think it should be seen. Being able to do that now, especially with my music, being able to say certain things and convey my feelings of aggression or depression in a way through words and a microphone and my delivery is so therapeutic. And being able to talk with people about my experience and everything that's happened in my life and everything that's pushed me to be here now doing my music and on the road, and with my first music video out and first song officially released, and working on a bigger project to release to everybody who's been waiting for me to blow up in music. I have such supportive friends and family, and I don't want to let them down. I've got too much to lose to quit. No matter how stressful that all of this gets, I could not see myself doing anything else. I have made goals for myself to work with these people who inspire me. Most of the people in my phone, I've met.
Oh yeah.
And I've listened. There are a lot of local artists from Seattle.
Probably have a lot of people on your phone though now.
If my phone were bigger, I'd have a lot more. I constantly have to delete old albums, and then when I want to retouch on something I haven't listened to, I have to go through my previously purchased and remind myself of all these different things that I've bought, because I love buying music and supporting music.
Yeah, that's big.
And like, because I mean, not to diss on streaming services, but like it doesn't nearly pay as well.
It doesn't help. the artist at all.
Yeah, it doesn't really pay
Especially
that well.
like an independent artist. It really doesn't help anybody. Until the record labels own the streaming services, no one's going to be making... And then the record labels are just going to be even shittier than they were before.
See, I really like the independent labels. Like, the artists that I listen to are so many independent artists. They're the people who are working the hardest and inspire me the most because they're the most genuine, and the people out there trying to like say something or just, you know, showcase who they are as people and not give a fuck what anybody else thinks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so artists like Sam LaChow was the biggest inspiration for me when it came to rapping, and he's from Seattle. Amazing rapper who has gone through so much, and all of his albums detail the lives that he lived when he was first making music and being involved in a lot of drugs, but making a lot of great music. And then multiple albums later talking about the struggles of addiction and trying to get clean and dealing with depression and wanting to, you know, stay alive through all of his hardships, and then making an album after that about him being clean and feeling better and wanting to make more music.
Yeah.
And the sound that came out of that was so moving and inspirational again. And this is from the time I was
like
in
Eminem,
junior
but not
high.
whack.
Exactly. From the time in junior high all the way up to now, I have been impressed with everything that he's put out. And that's motivating for me because I related to so much of him and like what he was saying, just this kind of like misconceived but also like warranted attitude that was given towards him, you know? Like, he wasn't a bad person. He just did some risky things and not risky but risque, you know? But like people like that. And then Gifted Gab, phenomenal hip hop artist. She is probably one of my favorites, and she came out of Seattle, blew up with Blimes Brixton over a video called Come Correct. And it's an amazing, dope song, and they've released amazing music since then. Blimes has gone on to work with freaking Method Man. Gab has been working with so many legends, and it's beautiful to watch her blow up because from the time that I met her first at the EMP in Seattle at a small show where I was working a booth that nobody went to visit, and the guy working the booth said, "You can go out and hang out in the crowd." I said, "Thank you."
Deal.
I knew all the words to her shit, and I was just rocking along with it. I got to shake hands with her and tell her that I wanted to work with her in the future.
Hell yeah.
And that's what I've told all these artists, is that when I'm done building me and myself, I want to bring what I've learned to the table and also learn from you, because I feel like I have a lot to learn from the people who have come before me in success. All these people who have succeeded in different environments and different touches of life there's so much there. There's all this different kind of information that you can get to better yourself as a person, as an artist, and I want nothing more than to learn that and to be able to provide that level of talent and content and professionality that I can work with these people who I've looked up to for so long. And even people out of Seattle who are independent artists, you know, Spose out in Maine, wonderful artist, was really popular for the song I'm Awesome. Nobody knows.
Awesome. That song?
I'm awesome. No, you're not, dude.
I don't know. I thought it was I'm fucking awesome. You know that song?
Thank God that was not
Okay,
him.
I was going to say, I didn't even know who that person's name was.
No, Spose is phenomenal. Nobody knew that he made music after that. People are like, oh, like he talks about it actually a lot in his music, whereas like if people knew that Spose had more than one song, you know.
Yeah. It sucks, dude. It's hard.
It's really
It's
tough.
hard to get known for one song to begin with, and then to continue to
He's
be
still
known.
getting paid from that.
I'm
and
sure.
he talks about that too. But his albums that he's been releasing since then, better and better quality every single time. He did a challenge where he wanted to record an album in 24 hours.
Wow.
Entire album done. 24 hours released right there and then.
Holy shit.
After it all, it was the coolest thing. I think he streamed it live on Twitch.
Oh, genius.
Yeah, and he's on tour right now. And actually, somebody who's on tour with him, who was on one of my favorite albums, this guy's name is J Spin. He followed me on Instagram just a couple days ago.
Oh, fuck yeah.
After we posted my pound cake freestyle on
Very nice.
Instagram. And you can check that out too. It's a pretty cool video.
What's your Instagram?
Fuse the Illest. It's FUSETHEILLEST.
Boom.
Super easy. No Z's at all. Please do not throw those in there.
This is real
You
life
won't-
here.
Yeah, you won't find me.
This is real life spellings.
But these people are the people that push me to be a better artist. Listening to Travis Thompson, Sam LaChow, Gifted Gab, Spose, Greaves, Watsky, Brother Ali, Atmosphere, Dem Atlas, Prof, all of these different artists who have come up on either their own or independently, and Rhymesayers Entertainment is probably one of my favorite labels out there that I'd love to be a part of, and probably one of the only labels I'd sign with. like there's very small, very few, labels that I would sign with other than doing my own label.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, and is
that what you want? Your own label?
I'm on the fence about it. There's part of me wants to do my own label just to do that, but also I wouldn't mind being picked up by Rhymesayers or being picked up by some of these other record label companies.
Mm-hmm.
They're just a goal I set for myself where by the time I'm 25, I want to have at least worked with or be signed under Rhymesayers Entertainment or a artist under Rhymesayers.
Where is that based out of?
It's actually based out of Minnesota.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're
Jesus.
actually based out of a clothing store.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
who's signed to it? I would know.
Oh, so,
maybe, or I don't know. I probably
well,
wouldn't, but I'm stupid.
I'm sure if you've heard some of these songs by Atmosphere, you would know.
I know who Atmosphere is.
Yeah. He's signed under Rhymesayers. I don't know if you know who Greaves or Watsky are.
I feel like I've heard Greaves.
Greaves is from Seattle, actually.
Oh, cool.
And Watsky has done a lot of work with some people in Seattle, and he's a wonderful artist and a beautiful creative as well. But these are the people that inspire me. These are the types of come-ups that make me want to keep doing what I'm doing so that I can bring everything that I've gained and learned throughout my experience to other people who need that kind of guidance in their life or need somebody or something like a song or whatever to get them through whatever they're going through. And
That's
was
something that it sound not to I'm not saying you're a hack. It sounds hacky, but it is a real thing.
Yeah.
Me and my dad have music that we bonded over since my mom passed. You know what I mean? It's a real thing.
Yeah, and me and my dad island music. There are certain songs that we play, and that's memories.
Right.
Yeah, it feels right because those are specific memories that I've had with my dad growing up in the childhood that I did have.
Obviously, I said I'm Mexican. Grew up actually right down the street. My grandpa owned a Mexican restaurant. It was winning best Mexican. I grew up in a Mexican restaurant. I loved it.
My dad
live
had a Hawaiian
music,
restaurant. Yeah,
love Santana. I'm all about live Mexican ass music.
Yeah,
and there's this place called Las Tapastias right down the street, really close to my place, really fucking close, under a mile, maybe under half a mile. It's a tienda. It maybe can sit 20 people at most, probably 15.
Yeah.
And they have the best tacos in town. Their food is fucking amazing. And when you go in there, they don't give a fuck, dude. If you you go in there at night, they've got some album on, some concert, loud as fuck, dude. You're not talking to the person you're eating with. You are listening to this fucking song and eating this amazing food. And it sounds horrible, and it's not, dude. It's not at all. It literally isn't. It's actually one of the cooler Jacksonville experiences that no one knows about, and I'm breaking the news right now.
Well, we probably will have to check that out at some point.
Yeah, how long are you here for?
Probably.
Until the 4th.
Yeah, just.
Maybe the 5th.
Because I have work really early tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Really early, but that means I'm gonna be off early. So I'll hit you guys up, and we could go do that. Because it's fucking good, dude.
Well, we're actually headed to the Devil's Den tomorrow.
Where's that? Well, obviously you don't know.
Yeah, it's about an hour. I just know it's an hour.
Oh,
away.
I know what you're talking about now. I thought you meant a place.
No.
Yeah,
that pool
spring.
cove. The spring.
Yeah.
Because we got our host told us about that, and we were like, wow, that sounds like we could get some really good footage there and hang out.
There's also a place to go zip lining.
I love zip lining.
It's $80 though, but
definitely out of the budget.
But it was a salt mine, and they blew it out. So now it's a huge quarry.
Whoa, and you go ziplining through the
It's
quarry?
the fastest, biggest self-stopping zip line in the Southeast.
That's so dope.
So fucking fun,
The
dude.
first time I went was when I was in Hawaii. My dad took me for my 21st
So fun.
and wanted to show me
I bet
the
Hawaii's
island.
way gnarlier.
Hawaii's beautiful. We got
It's
to,
weird how it isn't scary at all.
No, we ziplined it at the Kualoa Ranch, and you
Because I'm afraid of all that shit. I don't even do roller coasters.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I went through a lot of it as a kid, and like I just did it like to like do it because my cousins wanted me to or my friends wanted me to, and I didn't want to like chicken out. But like, it actually kind of fucked me up like with some heights and stuff. So like, I'm a little messed up, but I'm fine. Like I kind of like push myself to get over it now that I'm older. And going through ziplining is something I always wanted to do, and I was like, I'm not gonna bitch out of this. And they start you off with 50 feet in length, then it's 100 feet. Then
Did you have to do the practice shit before? Well, was yours self-stopping? Like you had to put your hand?
No.
Okay, totally different story now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the one, this is so simple to think of, but when you stop, you got to put your hand behind your head, obviously, because you don't think about that, dude. You're fucking, it's high as hell. You know, it's the biggest one, so you're going off of it. People get their fingers all fucked up. You're wearing gloves, obviously, but you put your hand on the actual line.
Yeah. The instructors that they had with us who walked us through the entire thing, there were a couple tourists who did get stuck in the middle, and they have to hook themselves
it happened
up.
to my group too.
Yep, and they climbed up, and they're like, you either get the gun show or the bun show.
How badass is that person?
Oh, these women were phenomenal and super fit and just the fastest at getting these people.
Such badasses. It happens to them probably multiple times a day.
They pay a lot of money, and I have contemplated moving there just to work there because of how much they pay for such a fun job.
Oh,
you obviously have to take safety classes and stuff, but
they probably pay for that though.
Literally zip line all day and just help people all day and instruct people all day on how to zip line. I'm like, that's probably the coolest job other than what I do.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was like the best experience. The last one was 1,600 feet in length, and I just let loose
insane.
on that and just like hung upside down and just like free flew, and it was the best.
That is huge, dude.
Oh,
that's long as hell.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, it really is.
The view was phenomenal.
Well, the one
too.
here, I'm sure you had this too, but like, it's in the middle of the woods. You're not out in the open. Some of it is, you know, but there's like, at this place, I think there's 9 different zips.
At the Kualoa Ranch, it's in a valley. So
Nice.
you're in this big dip, this massive. I'll mention that the Kualoa Ranch is actually famous for hundreds of movies and music videos.
Oh, really?
When I got there, it was just after they shot King Kong Skull Island.
Holy
and so they still had some of the props there. They were covering them up.
Oh,
like
cool.
you could see like all that cool stuff. There was the Godzilla movie got shot there. There were shots from Jurassic Park that were done there. Like the whole island scene. That's where that is.
That's so cool.
So cool because you get to
that's
drive
beautiful.
around like the mountain and get the tour of like all the way up to where the zipline section is into the valley. You're riding past these big cows and oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I loved being in touch with my island
I love
culture.
that so much. I love being outside and like not outside. Like you are not around anything.
Yeah.
It feels there's no
Natured.
frequency also in the air. I'm not trying to get all like weird conspiracy bull fuck shit.
No,
but,
I'm right
like,
there with you on all
there
of it.
is
so.
like a lot of like our phones and shit. Like you're out there, it feels less.
Yeah.
There's a weight that doesn't weigh down on you.
Yeah, it's something out there that's just untouchable, and it's
It's like taking
nice.
a backpack off, a mental backpack. It's very weird.
There's actually, I think there was a thing, and it's like removing your socks relieves like 30% of your daily stress.
Oh, yeah.
So
to be
at the end of the
grounded.
day, you just take them off, and that goes 30% of your stress. And for some reason, like I never thought of it being so therapeutic until actively thinking about taking my socks off and being like, wow, that feels incredible.
Yeah, it really does. Especially, like, has nothing to do with any good shit. But when you, like, right now I'm wearing socks like these dress socks.
Oh, yeah.
So once I take this off, I'm going to be itching like that upper ankle area, the upper anchor area, as I was so stupidly saying. My upper ankle area, and that's one of the top 5 feelings. How do you feel about this? I want to get your answer on just your quick thought. I don't want you to think about it. Why does it feel so good when you pop a pimple, when you fart, when you cum, when you piss? I also think it feels better to piss than to cum if you haven't pissed and like your life depends on pissing. Everything that leaves your body feels good. Like popping a pimple just is right.
It's expelling. It's stress.
Get out.
It's
taking the socks off.
Exactly. It's taking the socks off. Whatever, like whatever is causing you some sort of stress, it's building up inside of you, and you are relieving yourself of it. If you are experiencing an orgasm, if you're sneezing, if you're peeing, if you're shitting,
boogers,
it's tension in your body that is being
boogers,
released.
dude, nothing's better than a good booger.
When your nose is so clogged up and you blow your nose and then you can finally breathe, it's like feeling like somebody placed Nature Valley inside of your nostrils, and you just feel really not Nature
Valley, the granola bars.
Yeah, like you just shoved granola bars in your nose. What I
oats.
mean is just a nice spring open nature feeling of just taking in the world, not shoving granola into your nasal cavities. And
which you could try it.
Yeah, you know what? I don't doubt that somebody somewhere has. In my strange addiction, I guarantee you they'll find somebody who blends all of their honey nut, the honey nut Nature Valley bars.
Nature Valley, I've just been crushing them up. We got like dollar bills, like snorting them. They're all strung out.
There's my friends. We went shopping together, and he pulls up the Nature Valley thing, and he goes, "This was my favorite flavor," and it says sweet and salty nut, and it's the funniest thing to just say out loud, because sweet and salty nut, like it just ends with nut, and you can't say
some old
it.
Guy like,
yeah,
me too, man. I love that.
I love that flavor. Say it anyway else.
I love how if you say I nutted to an old person, they're like, what the fuck is that?
I definitely have never said
You're crazy?
I nutted to an old person.
I haven't either, but I feel like if I did, they'd be like, what does that mean? I want to get, what's like the most memorable experience you've had on this trip?
Oh, the most memorable? I would have to say staying at one of our hosts, her name was Kaylin, and we didn't have a place to stay out in Palmdale, and she hosted us on 4th of July weekend, where 4th of July was the next day, and she was having a big party with all of her friends. There was going to be food.
You put your picture up there, right?
Yep.
That's what
so everybody gets to see you and everything.
You get to see them?
Yeah.
Smart. Has there been any like really hot girls and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall in love?
There are some suspicions.
Kaylin?
No.
Oh.
No, she was a wonderful person.
I'm just kidding. Sure, she was beautiful.
She's a wonderful person. She has probably one of the most kind and beautiful souls like I've ever met. She's a teacher, and she's phenomenal, and she's wonderful with her kids. When she invited us over for this party and everything, we were like super grateful for one thing. She's a phenomenal cook, and she brought us to her house in Palmdale, and she's like, you guys can take a look at the backyard, which she calls Timon's Paradise, which is named after her little dog, Timon, who is the cutest and smartest little thing.
Hell yeah.
And you go out into the back, and it's this whole patio. There's the stone fire pit kind of thing.
I love that, yes.
To that, there is a full bar